Okay, okay po. Magandang hapon po sa lahat. So, we'll start na po. So, for today po, we'll be covering two topics which was discussed previously dun sa tatlong sections. Ano, so those are managing quality, talking about quality tools, talking about quality concepts. The second one ay how to set up your initial statistical process control, which are helpful in monitoring the progress of your process if you're meeting the standards or the sets of specifications. And then for the second part, yun nga, project presentation tayo. Two presentations po per group. You are the ones to decide what are those two laboratory activities that you're wanting to present. And then yun nga, those laboratories should be laboratory 9 to 12. You just need to pick two from those laboratory activities. Okay po. So first of all, I'm hoping that you can see my screen. Okay. I'll take this as a yes. Okay. So again, this will gonna be just a brief discussion. Hindi natin masyado i-detalye. Bakit po? Kasi you have a specific subject for this talking about quality. So that's industrial quality control or kung hindi ako nagkakamali, it's statistical process control yata dun sa inyong bagong curriculum. Okay. So quality. Quality first of all is something that eh, or we can define this as hold on po ha. Ako lang ay kukuha ng pen. Hold on for a while. Where's the pen? Ayun. Okay. Okay. So when we are talking about quality, it's more of your perception. Perceived? Sana ayan, kayo na lang mag-correct ng spelling. So it's a first perceived concept. So depending sa inyo how you define quality. But most of the definitions ng quality it ranges from one purpose. If that product or if that service um if that product or that service delivers the purpose, then we can say that those are of good quality. Pumasa siya sa quality. Okay? Insofar as yung product mo ay nagawa yung kanyang dapat na purpose, then quality part siya. Or in industry, we call it as the good part. And then pag yung service naman po ay na-deliver natin ng maayos or na-render natin ng maayos, then according sa standards of course, or sa ating mga standards, then we can say that quality that service is of good quality. Okay? And then quality also, yun nga, na-cover na rin natin, nasabi ko rin kanina. So insofar as nami-meet niya yung sets of standards niya or mga specs, then we can say that the product is or past the quality. Okay? So with good quality, it pertains to or it allows the company to gain reputation. Okay? And then consumers will think that the product, whatever product they are producing, and given and establish na nila yung company reputation, whatever product they are producing ay of good quality. Like for example, Apple. Okay? So, kung may bagong model ng iPhone, so ano ang perception natin? Given na establish na ng Apple yung kanilang pangalan, so good product. Okay? And besides, andun na yung kind of status symbol. Okay? And then it also implies that uh, the employees are working on good practice, or they are following the sets of standards, or they are complying with the sets of guidelines na meron na in-establish yung company na yun. And also, ayan, maganda rin yung kanilang supplier relation. Nandun yung continuity of supply. Okay, everything starts from the raw materials na gagamitin. So, kung ang raw materials may maganda, of good quality na, then hindi na siya, or that adds up dun sa uh, ina-expect nating quality of the end product. Okay? Also, yun nga, product liability, meaning durable yung product mo, tatagal yung product mo, and eventually hindi siya harmful, or nare-reduce natin yung risk. Also, if your product is of good quality, it means that you can compete with other companies producing the same product. Ayan. So you can even penetrate the market and gain better market share. Okay, so yun po yung implications of ilan sa mga implications ng quality. Okay, we have several concepts here on TQM, but first let's define what TQM is. Quality management. So quality management, you're ensuring that you're meeting the quality standards. So that's quality management. Okay? Or you're meeting the standards, you're meeting the specifications. When we talk about TQM, nadagdagan lang siya ng total. Meaning, every process, everything, every person, every process in the company must be involved on ensuring that they're meeting the quality standards. So that is what is meant by TQM. Okay? Total quality management. Everyone is involved. Okay? Unlike quality management, let's say quality team lang ang involved. When we talk of TQM, even HR involves any kinds of process improvements, any kinds of quality improvements. Okay? Even purchasing. Na alam naman natin slightly uh, mm, or sa purchasing, alam naman natin slightly impacted sila regarding quality measures. But then, ayun, pag sinabing total quality management, involved sila. Okay, so we have 7 concepts of TQM here. Continuous improvement. So when we talk continuous improvement, that's abbreviated as CI. Okay, dito pumapasok yung how will you ensure that um, the company or the process is moving forward, that you are continuously looking for opportunities to improve your process, okay, or your products. And then talking about Six Sigma, ang focal point nito ay reduction on risk or reduction on variation. Ibig sabihin, hangga't maaari, uh, pantay-pantay yung result. Okay, hindi masyadong malaki yung deviation. Halimbawa, ang product natin ay na-measure at halimbawa, okay, weight. Halimbawa, so 10.3 grams, 10.31 grams, 10.32 grams, 10.29 grams. Ibig sabihin, ayan, depende sa sets of sa tolerance level nyo. Ang ibig sabihin po nitong reduction of variation, maliit lang yung difference nito sa isa't isa or sa kanyang mean, sa kanyang standard or sa kanyang target. Okay? So kumbaga ito yung target line niya, masyadong maliit lang yung layo ng actual results against the target. Okay? At hindi yung nandito, nasa malalayong points. Okay? That is what is meant by Six Sigma. Primary goal is on reducing the variation. Yeah, so once you reduce your variation, then definitely you can expect that customers will be you that the customers will be receiving the same product or will be receiving the same service. Okay? So itong Six Sigma is more applicable sa goods rather than sa service, or sa manufacturing rather than sa service. Kasi it's really difficult to measure yung performance ng service. That possible sa mga time, but service can, ayan, ang service kasi unique. Okay, so yun nga, even if we can set a standard, how varied yung magiging type of service natin will depend on the customer, on the person who will be receiving the service. Okay? Then employee empowerment, meaning, yun nga, total quality management, everyone is involved. Okay. So, employee empowerment, meaning, yung mga skills nila, or the employees are provided with enough training, or each employee is involved on in improving their quality, improving their processes. Okay? And then pag sila ay involved, motivated sila, and then hindi sila ganun ka resistant dun sa change na ipapa-implement natin. Okay? And then benchmarking, it's like looking for the best. Looking for the best, meaning, yun nga, um, may mga best companies tayo. And then they may have processes similar to us. So we may benchmark them, we may look into them, use those measurements, those measurements, those uh, best processes as our standard. So yun po yung konsepto ng benchmarking. Parang magse-set ka ng standard mo by reviewing ano ba yung best sa best practice. Okay? Yun nga, napakaganda nitong benchmarking kasi hin alam mo yun, yung KPI na isa-set mo, or key performance standards na isa-set mo is alam mong achievable, and alam mo na parang isa-set natin yung standard at a world-class level, or near best-in-class level. Okay? And then, yun nga, motivated na yung mga tao on how to achieving those KPIs. Okay? Then just in time in relation naman po sa quality. So pag sinabing just in time, meron lang tayong nare-receive ng mga products, or gagawin lang natin yung products once needed. Okay, ibig sabihin yung inventory natin is bababa. Ibig sabihin, kung mababa yung ating inventory, mare-reveal yung mga problema. And then yung mga problema na yung ma-address. So that's the impact of just in time sa quality. Okay? One of the problems na posibleng ma-reveal with lowering our inventory position is yung mga bottlenecks, yung mga quality issues na tinatago natin, and some other kinds of improvement opportunities. Okay? Dito naman sa Taguchi concepts, ang Taguchi concepts is yung talking about quality loss. As in here po, even if it passes, even if yung part natin is qualified, if yung part natin is good quality based dun sa sinet nating target, ito yung target. Then sabihin natin ito yung tolerance na lang muna. Tolerance level. So we have ito yung mga plus or minus yung nakikita. So tolerance or specification level. So ito, yung mga parts na yun, this is a control chart. Itong mga result na to guys, ayan, kung halimbawa measurement siya, ayan, malapit dun sa target line, and then pasok dito sa tolerance level, mako-consider natin to as good. Okay? But, um, as if we want to have a better result, not just good, okay? As much as possible, malapit siya dito. Kasi may mga cases na kagaya nito. Yung point na yun, guys, itong tinuturo kong to, yung point na yun ay mas malapit sa tolerance kaysa sa target. So, in terms of our set specification levels or tolerance level, good part siya. Tama? Kasi pasok siya dun sa tolerance, pasok siya dun sa ating sinet na specs or allowable limits. Pero, hindi siya of better quality. Kasi as much as possible, dapat po yung mga results natin ay mas malapit sa target. So again, this quality loss function may also be in relation to the concept of Six Sigma, whereas we're reducing the variation. Okay? Kasi, halimbawa, itong reduction of variation. Okay. Ito yung mga results mo. Ito yung target. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Less varied. Tama. Kasi nandito lahat ng result. So, less varied. Okay, how about this one? Ito yung target mo. Then, ito yung specification level or specification limit. Then, andito lahat ng result. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Less varied din. Tama? Okay. Then, ilagay natin to. Anong ibig sabihin naman ito? Good parts. Pero mataas yung variation. High yung variation. Okay, again, magdidepende siya kung gaano ka-tight yung ating limits na to. Pero ito, more varied as compared sa mga to. Sa concept ni Taguchi, yeah, ito, good. Kasi less nga yung varied, na-achieve natin yung reduction of variation. Pero sa concept ni Taguchi, ganito po. Kung ilalagay natin, dapat yung mga resulta ay less yung variation and close dito sa target. Yun po yung konsepto ni Taguchi. Okay? So, less yung variation, but yung less yung ating quality loss. Kasi closer sila sa target. Okay? So, yan po yung 7 concepts natin ng TQM. And then, of course, yung ating mga TQM tools, yung 7 TQM tools na ginagamit definitely sa industry. Okay, just to give you, or just to highlight those or to describe more those concepts. So, continuous improvement, tinatawag din siya sa industry na Kaizen. So, hayaan ko na lang sa lean manufacturing and how to define it. And then, it's a never-ending process of continual improvement. It involves everyone, not only people, but also the materials being used, the machineries being used, and yung mga procedures na ginagamit natin. Anything that can be covered on your continual improvement activities. Okay, then it follows the PDCA cycle, whereas you're looking for opportunities to improve your process, then taking an action, reviewing if it is if if uh, if that action would deliver good results or better results, and then if so, then you have to implement it. And then dahil nga continuous improvement siya, hindi naman siya parang concept ng elevator na pag first mula sa first floor makakarating ka agad ng fifth floor. Tama, yun yung elevator. Hindi po siya parang big leap na ganyan. Okay? Sa konsepto po ng continuous improvement, yan po ay dahan-dahan na step. Kumbaga, parang hagdan. Parang nanamnamin natin yung bawat step. Pag-aaralan natin yung bawat step. So, okay. This is your first step. Ayan, hanggang sa makarating ka dun sa level 5 or so. Okay? Sa industry, ito nga po, pinakagamit na concept, yung continuous improvement. Kasi nga po, you're looking always for opportunities, and then part din po ng mga goals mo ay magkaroon ng mga projects which are related sa continuous improvement. Okay, so yun nga po, kailangan natin, ayaw naman natin kaagad na mag-deliver ng big leap na kagaya nito. Gusto natin small steps are always better than a big leap. Kasi nga po dito, na-appreciate natin lahat ng mga process na papag-aralan natin ng maayos. Pag kasi big leap, parang may na-skip tayo na mga process na posible mahalaga, posible maka-apekto sa future output natin or sa future results natin. Okay? So, yeah, continuous improvement. Ayan, you're looking for zero defects or ensuring that everyone is involved. Andyan yung TQM. Some examples of continuous improvement projects. Yung nga po, mga client advisory nito. And because, if there are cases of downtimes, kasi nga po masyado ng maraming tao na pumapasok dun sa site, so hindi na kayang i-handle ng kanilang system. So as a result, para ma-avoid natin yung future downs ng system natin, so we can stop now, make our facilities or our system unavailable para makapag-proceed tayo dun uh, sa upgrading. Okay? So, yan. So, these are example of or this is an example of continuous improvement activity. Another one is yun nga po, making use of solar or looking on opportunities to cut the electric bills. So rather than yung bill natin ay nakakonekta sa linya ng kuryente or yung ating electric supply ay nakakonekta sa linya ng kuryente. So why not to source our own supply by looking for opportunities like yun nga, pag-invest sa solar panels. So, of course, initially wala naman tayo masyadong makikitang improvements, but eventually, yun nga, saka natin ma magiging yung benefits na-derive mula dun sa project na yun. So again, this is an example of continuous improvement opportunity or continuous improvement project. Yan, another one is sorting process. So if you think na 20% is passing na, good result, so ibig sabihin nito may opportunity pa tayo mag-improve. Maybe magkakaroon lang tayo ng ilang tweaks sa machine learning ano natin, algorithm. And then with that improvement on machine learning algorithm, masasort ng maayos ng mga robots natin or yung mga robot natin ay makakapag-process ng mas magandang result. And then yung result na yun, i-measure. And then, syempre, hindi naman natatapos dun. So, that project or the output of that project may even result to another continuous improvement opportunity or continuous improvement project. Okay? So, ayan, hanggang sa ma-achieve natin yung result na gusto natin. Ah, yung iba po, they call quality as a pursuit for perfection. But definitely, some perfection is something na napakahirap ma-achieve pag nasa industry ka. There are so many constraints, there are so many restrictions, mga unavailabilities, mga barriers na kailangan nating i-break to achieve that perfection. But again, andun yung konsepto ng pursuit. You're trying to reach it. You're trying to reach it. Okay? Okay, so that's okay. Another example is or evaluating the two alternatives. Like for example, this one sa mangga natin. Ayun nga, for any fruit-bearing tree to avoid yung or to control yung pest natin. Ayan, either binabalot siya ng ganito paper bag or dyaryo. Okay? And then that's the first alternative to against pest control. And then the second one is to make use of chemicals, spraying. So pwede siyang i-review. Which one is more tedious? Which one will give us a better result? Which one ay less tedious, less yung ating efforts na i-exert, less resources yung magagamit natin, and yun nga, in terms of cost, which one outweighs the other. Okay? So yan, yung example pa rin po ng continuous improvement opportunities. Okay. So Six Sigma, again, the main concept here is reduction on variability. Okay? And it has two meanings. Statistically speaking, that's we're trying to achieve a 3.4 defects per million opportunities. Ibig sabihin, out of a million product na ipoproduce natin, we're only expecting about 4 defects or 3.4 defects. Okay? That would result sa 99.9997% na statistically capable yung ating process. Okay? Or yung ating output ay maganda or mataas po yung um, yield niya. Okay? And then, yun nga po, Six Sigma as it goes to, reducing variability, nga po, if you reduce the variability, you will eventually reduce the defects that the team or that team will be encountering. And pag na-reduce natin yung defects, less yung ating reworks, meaning less yung ating cost. Wala tayong reworks, meaning na-save natin yung time natin. And then wala tayong defects, wala tayong reworks, wala tayong customer complaints, na-improve natin ang customer satisfaction. Okay? So, yun po yung konsepto ng Six Sigma and hoping na since kayo po ay naka-attend na or kayo po ay yellow belt certified na. So, yeah, madali na lang to. So, Six Sigma, yun nga po, it comes from normally, dinedesignate natin siya as six, then sigma. Sigma for the standard deviation. Standard deviation, it's the concept of, or it's a measure of variability. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, as much as possible, same yung dinideliver natin yung result, less yung differences nila. Okay? Yung iba, ayun nga po, ang konsepto nito is by spreading yung ating uh, tolerance level, you can achieve a higher good, a higher yield or higher number of good parts. Yan po yung pinaka-konsepto ng Six Sigma but definitely may marami pa tong mga principles pa. But that's the main concept. Okay. So, Six Sigma is normally combined with lean manufacturing, with the concept of lean manufacturing. Whereas yung lean manufacturing natin or ito yung parang ang main concept niya is to identify waste and then later on eliminate or reduce those waste. Yung mga waste na yun like overproduction, excessive inventory, excessive processing, unnecessary motion, lot of transportation, ayan, cases of defects, ayan, yung mga waiting times. So, yun po yung ilan sa mga waste natin, which we are eventually trying to reduce kung hindi man ay i-eliminate. Okay? Kasi there are some kinds of ways na kailangan talagang andun, part na ng system natin. So, possibly wala na tayong magagawa or na-reach na natin yung maximum level na kaya natin gawin. So, hanggang reduction na lamang. So, at least there's some sorts of improvement pa rin. Then, that concept of lean manufacturing is combined with Six Sigma. So, if the Six Sigma focuses on reduction of variability and yung atake natin dito sa Six Sigma is more systematic. Nagpa-follow tayo either yung DMAIC method, define, measure, analyze, improve and control method. So yun po yung mga 5 processes natin na pinag-undergohan. And then we may use control charts to monitor yung progreso natin and some failure mode evaluation technique to ensure na bawat nodes ay napapag-aralan or bawat aspeto ay yun yan, napapag-aralan. Okay, so that combination of the Lean concepts and Six Sigma that results sa Lean Six Sigma, which is I think most industries nowadays are making use of. Okay, so for the samples, you may just check this link. Ayan po yung mga examples natin ng Six Sigma projects, but definitely there are a lot more. And hoping na nakapag-send naman ako sa inyo ng ilan from the previous sessions natin. Okay, nakapagpakita naman tayo ng ilang samples din po. Okay, so another concept ng TQM is employee empowerment. So dito sa employee empowerment, we must ensure na yung mga employees natin ay motivated, na mga employees natin ay part ng team na involved sa continuous improvement project. And we must understand na if we are looking for the root causes of the problem, halimbawa may problema kang na-encounter, hindi dapat nating sisihin yung mga tao kaagad. Kasi that turned out to be our default, di ba? Pag pangit yung resulta, sinisisi kaagad natin yung mga tao na gumawa nun. Tama? Which is pangit. Kasi, yun nga, na-establish na natin yung default na ganun. But in reality po, ayan, yung mga output na bad, that's not because of the person. That's not mainly because of the, yun nga, the person working on it. working on that task, or on that project, or on that product. But most of the quality issues that we're encountering, why are we getting bad results, are because of the process and the materials being used. For the process, that then involves yung papaano ba ginawa ng tao yung project na yung process na yun, or yung procedure na yun. So, hindi natin talaga sinisisi yung tao na ikaw, na sinisisihin siya na okay, kasalanan mo. Okay? Ang sisisihin natin is, or ang i-evaluate natin is, papaano niya ginawa yung yung process na yun. And then pag ni-revise natin yung process na yun, pag in-improve natin yung process na yun, we can eventually solve yung quality issues. Malinaw? It's not that if we change that person na nagkamali, or na may mababang result, uh, and then humanap tayo ng ibang tao to replace that person, hindi po ganun yung solusyon. Okay? As much as possible, we'll look first on the process and how that task are being rendered. Okay? And at the same time, yung mga materials na ginamit natin. Although, kung titingnan natin yung fishbone nga po, di ba nakikita natin dito yung fishbone? Okay? May nakalagay dito about talking about manpower. Okay, so although part siya ng analysis natin, pero hindi naman natin pinipinpoint na dahil kasalanan to ng specific tao na yon. Okay, hindi po. It could be because of his lack of training, because of the wrong, wrong process or so. Okay, or that person not following the standard. So anong kailangang i-evaluate natin? Why is it that person is not following the standard, and hindi yung or hindi yung sisisihin kaagad natin yung tao. Okay? So that's mainly employee empowerment. So again, if the manpower natin, if our employees are empowered, they can give us a better result, a better solution. Them being part of our continuous improvement initiatives may trigger can-do action. Ibig sabihin, kaya natin to. Yung can-do attitude. Okay? Hindi po sila resistant sa possible change na ipapa-implement natin. They'll embrace the changes. And then, yun nga, more empowered sila, more motivated sila, and they can even provide better service to our customers. Ensured na nandun yung communication. And then, yun nga, magandang communication, yun ay endure natin. And then, with continuous improvement initiatives, and them being part of those projects, they can even be more productive, and they can follow yung ano ba yung best practices, because eventually if you look for solution dun sa mga continuous improvement projects natin, ayun, makakapag-set tayo what's the best practice, what's the standard, and yun nga, eventually makakapag-follow sila, and they are not just looking for for one step ahead. Hindi lang po ganun. They can even go extra mile. They can achieve, they could look forward dun sa what's the next step. Okay? At hindi lang, okay, we're done. Hindi ganun. Dapat what's the next step? What's next? Are there any projects? So yun po yung um, mga benefits na nabibigay sa atin once an employee is empowered. Okay? Question so far? Okay? Seems wala. Then benchmarking. When we talk about benchmarking, we're looking for the best in class. We're looking for how to set standard, 'di ba? So if you will just do your process every day, hindi mo alam kung nag-i-improve ka. Tama kasi nakasanayan mo na 'yun. Once na nagawa ko na, okay, done na. But how can you measure it? pag ba natapos natin, then we're done, then okay yung performance natin. Ganun ba? Hindi po. Normally, ah, dito sa processes natin sa industry, may mga sineset tayong mga goals or mga performance indicators. Okay? Key performance indicators. And those key performance indicators can, or those goals natin for key performance indicators can be set by knowing what are the best practices. Okay? Maybe dun sa another process or maybe sa other companies. So again, it is always bad to compare yourself. How are you doing against other people? Tama? It's always bad. Pero if we are looking for measuring our performance, are we doing things better ba or hindi? You could first uh, set ano ba yung dapat na performance indicator na yun. Paano ko ba ma-measure yung performance ko? Am I progressing or not? Ano ba yung best practice? So again, politics, let's set aside politics here. But uh, about our, for example, COVID response, again, setting aside politics, wala akong pakialam sa politics. Okay, actually, lahat ng news channel, hindi na ako nakikibalita. Okay, so, ayan, with regards sa COVID response natin, halimbawa, there are several comments. Ayan, why are we comparing Philippines response against the first world country given na ang Philippines is a third world country? Di ba? Bakit daw kailangan natin i-compare? So, the essence there is to know where we are. How can we know? How can we progress? How can we improve if we don't know where we stand? Tama? So, there should be a like a way para ma-ensure natin na improving tayo at hindi na tayo magsasettle sa kung ano na yung nakasanayan natin or kung ano na yung existing, 'di ba? Asa na yung essence ng continuous improvement? Okay? So that's why sometimes, yeah, for those concepts and even sa industry talaga, um, okay, so hopefully, I'm still with you guys.
Opo.
Okay, good. So yun nga, benchmarking, we're trying to set the best in class. And we're trying, if we can achieve that best in class, of course, there are other ways to set the standard. Okay, but again, parang i-eye natin yung maging best. One of the best. Okay? Maya-maya may other ways. Or ito, other ways to setting the stand or setting our benchmark standard is maybe using the average. Okay, like for example, this one, for response time. Halimbawa po, ito yung mga barangay dito sa Lipa. And then, ito yung respond nila sa, halimbawa, pag may tumawag na tao mula dun sa barangay na yun, asking for help, for bombero. Ayan. And then, ito yung response time ng mga bombero. Nakarating sa lugar na yun for 7 minutes. Another barangay for 5 minutes or so. And then, to know if maganda ba yung respond ng mga bombero na yun, is to, let's say, set the average time. And that average time can determine if we're doing bad response here. We're having poor response dito sa barangay na to. And dito naman sa ibang barangay ay very good yung response natin. Okay? Na-address na puntahan kaagad natin yung sunog na yun. Okay po? Malinaw? So again, we're not on, it's by concept, benchmarking is looking for the best practice. But those best practices can be set as well as the average, the median. Okay? Kung hindi natin kaya talagang i-achieve yung best result, maybe dun sa average level, kaya siguro natin. Okay? Kagaya po nito. So, it allows us to know where we are, where we stand, tapos We can look on ways on how, for this case, cut yung janitorial cost. Okay, paano ba natin marireduce yung cost na yun para maging, ayun, para ma-meet natin yung median level. And yun nga po, iba din, yung iba, yun nga, sinabi ko kanina, we're looking for the best practice. So that's a market leader. But we can even compare ourselves, how are we doing against the market average. Yung iba, if they feel na, okay, uh, we're not yet there, we cannot, or nandun na yung blockage natin na we cannot meet the market leader. We cannot be the best. So maybe, i-align natin muna yung ating mga process, yung sitwasyon natin with the average. Like for example, this one, this is a company A. Sabihin natin ganun. This one is company A. And then this one is company B. And then this one, halimbawa ng process A is a molding. Then ito yung plating process nila. Molding. Ito yung gaano kabilis. Yung molding time, plating time, or success rate na lang to. Ibig sabihin, or yield, or output natin. And then, ano pa ba? Assembly. No, not ASCII. Ano pa bang common? Sige. For the meantime, yan yung common eh. Molding, plating, as assembly. Okay, so ito yung success rate natin. Ano, yung company A and then company B. And then these are the best practices. Kung mapapansin nyo, okay, for the molding process, we're achieving 70% good results. Unlike sa other industries, whereas they are at 85%. So, it allows us to know, pwede pa ba nating ma-improve to? Parang ayaw kasi natin na laging status quo. Okay? Di ba ang pangit naman ng status quo lang tayo palagi na we're not looking for ways on how to get the best out of ourselves. Okay? Yung itry man lang, subukan man lang. Di ba? And then, dito sa plating process, okay, we're already at the same level as the best in class. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Will we stop there? No. Maybe we can continue to leverage itong result na to. Okay? To even surpass that market leader. Kasi nga po, pag nasa industry ka, it's always eye on the price, eye on the ways to move forward lagi. Okay? And then similarly for the assembly process, we're getting there. Dito sa best. And shall we continue to just achieving this level or will we continue to surpass it? Okay? And become the market leader then. Okay po. So yan po yung konsepto ng benchmarking. And then yung benchmarking, you're not just comparing your or setting your standards or knowing the best practices from external or from other companies, but maybe you can set your standard practices from your own internal process or sabihin natin yung other operations. For example, process A, ito yung kanilang result. And then yung process B, they can make use of process A's best result as their as the way to measure their performance. Okay po. Yan. So once you're able to establish ano ba yung kailangan kong or ano ba yung aim ko? Ano ba yung goal ko? Like for this case, Q1 of 2009, ito yung ating energy consumption. While on 2014, you have this vision, 5-year vision. This is the energy consumption na lang natin. That level. Ngayon, syempre, yung vision na yun, hindi naman sapat na i mo lang. There should be ways. Ano ba yung kailangan nating atakihin? Ano ba yung kailangan nating i-monitor? And for this case, Like efficiency, you have to trim down about 18 to 25%, or output or our throughput dapat 4.6% improvement. Then our spending must be less by 4.6%, and then so on and so forth. That those factors here, those small percentage na to, that will lead us to achieving our vision. Okay? So this chart is a kind of waterfall chart na tinatawag to. Waterfall chart. Mas kilala siya sa industry na waterfall chart. Or yun nga, a roadmap on how to cut or to reduce the cost. Okay? Again, hindi sapat na may goal ka lang na ganyan. Kailangan may way ka to achieving it. May sub-goals ka kumbaga. Okay. So, sa concept ng just in time, yun nga, just in time, you are only producing when it is needed. Kagaya nito. Okay? It's not that you're waiting for customer orders. Ayan, waiting for your customers to get the parts. It's more of um, doing na, or yun nga, gagawin mo lang yung kailangan, kung ano yung kailangan. Hindi ka mag-iintay ng ang customer ilalapit sa'yo or mag-iintay ng customer orders. And then, continue ka lang ng production. So, in here po, ayan, some example of just in time is purchasing materials only when it's needed, cutting or processing an item kung may demand na, isi-ship lang natin yung parts, or ang warehouse natin ay hindi siya puno ng mga materials, hindi siya puno ng mga boxes or finished goods. Meaning, ang warehouse natin ay all of them are shippable parts, ready to ship na. Hindi natin, ayaw naman natin ang warehouse natin ay punong-puno. That's too bad kasi inventory, di ba, is a waste. If we hold too many inventory, it means that we're holding too much money. Okay? So, yun nga po. As much as possible, ang laman ng warehouse natin ay mga ready-to-ship parts. Okay, that's the concept of just in time. Ngayon, hindi naman ibig sabihin dito na totally wala ka ng inventory. Hindi po ganun kasi tapos tayo dyan. Mas mataas yung risk pag wala tayong inventory. But then, dapat yung inventory level na yun ay minimal. Minimal ang such a way na marireveal yung mga problema natin and later on ma-address. Example, yun nga po, halimbawa namamangka ka. So, sa pamamangka mo, ikaw po ay naghahanap ng mga basura sa dagat. Okay? Ngayon, di ba pag maghahanap ka ng mga basura sa dagat and then sakay ka ng bangka, syempre may tubig yun, dagat eh. Okay, ang makikita mo lang mga basura, matatanggal mo lang ng mga basura, ma-address mo lang ng mga problema along the way is yung mga nasa surface ng tubig. Tama? Okay po. But then, hindi po natin nakikita na meron pa palang mga problema dito sa ilalim. Okay po, like for example, walang training yung mga tao, mataas yung ating scrap rate. Mataas yung nami-miss natin yung production or yung due date natin. Ayan, nagbibigay tayo ng unrealistic commitment sa mga customers natin. Pangit yung quality na binibigay ni vendor natin. So, hindi natin ang mga ito na-address kasi we're just looking on the surface. Okay? But then, papaano natin ito makikita? Papaano natin na marireveal yung mga problema na yan and later on ma-address, ma-solve? It is by reducing the level of inventory in such a way na makakapag-flow pa rin tayo, makikita pa rin natin yung basura sa surface, but at the same time, marireveal natin yung mga problema na to. Okay po? So, yan po yung konsepto ng just in time. It's a pull system, meaning we're waiting for customer orders before we proceed our production process or production scheduling. And as we know, pagtaas ng ating inventory, it cost us a lot of money. Ang pera natin is hindi nagfo-flow. Nakatenga lang siya. Ayaw naman natin na ganun. 'Di ba? Parang cold cash, parang gano'n yung konsepto. And it hides the process and other material problems. So if we are to reduce that level of inventory, eventually may encourage natin yung actions on how to improve our processes and ensuring that we're giving good quality products. Okay? Nakuha po? So, yun nga po. So, ang inventory kasi that hides the problem. Okay, but then if we are to reduce the level of inventory, then we can reveal this lots of problems. Hindi po, ayaw kasi natin na band-aid lang yung solution. Okay, band-aid, ibig sabihin temporary yung solution. Ayaw naman natin na band-aid lang. Gusto natin permanent yung solution. And that band-aid solution is by getting more inventory. Okay, kasi we can continue our operations if we have a lot of inventory. Tama? But then that creates another problem. That is yung inventory waste, excessive inventory. What we are trying to look on the concept of just in time is to move to a permanent solution. How can we address quality problems? How can we address quality issues? How can we ensure that we have good communication? Paano natin ma-reduce yung machine downtimes? Okay po? So sana nakuha po natin yung konsepto ng JIT. Ayan. So sa JIT po natin, you're ensured na nandyan yung good, right material sa right time, at the right place, at the quantity needed. Okay? Next concept is yung Taguchi concept. Dito po, ang konsepto niya is identifying the key component and process variables affecting product production. And then, most famous siya with the quality loss function. If we take a look at this is our traditional way of understanding your quality. If ang result natin is nandito, okay, good parts, good. Good yung result natin kasi within the specification level. Or this is a lower specification level, while this one is the upper specification level. Ito po yung plus, then ito yung target. Halimbawa, yung target mo is 50. Then, ito yung plus 5, ito yung minus 5. Meaning, yung plus 5 na yun, this is 55. Sabihin natin 55 kilo. And then, this one is 45 kilo. Then, if our results ay nandito, okay, good. Tama. Then, pag nandito, okay, bad. Okay, and then, pag may nakita tayong bad, i-stop natin yung process and then, we can review why nag-exist yung bad na yun. Which, later on, our goal is to really eliminate those bad results. Okay, or those defects. Ngayon, sa Taguchi concept po, ganito po yung konsepto niya. Ito, ayan, medyo may parang parabolic curve dito. Whereas, pag di ba, initially ito, good. Okay, good result yan. But then, hidden here are, this is good, but not good enough. Parang ganun. Okay, pasado siya sa atin sa quality. Pero hindi pa natin na-deliver yung better result. Okay, kung ano ba yung gusto natin talagang ma-achieve. Okay, and we're trying here na yung lahat ng resulta natin is within this level, mag-close sa target. Okay, a good example of this is, okay, just to illustrate ano yung Taguchi concept, ito po siya. So if we are moving our results, or we are getting our results near our target level, then marireduce yung ating losses, yung quality losses natin, yung ating bad parts. Okay? Sana nagigets nyo po to. But again, this concept po ay hayaan ko na lang yung quality nyo or sa subject nyo na quality management or quality control nyo makover. Okay. Example. So typically, halimbawa nag-harvest ka ng orange. Okay? Pagka-harvest mo ng orange, that's day 1.
a day after that. Then 3 days after, na-harvest mo yung orange. Okay, ito siya. Ganito yung itsura. Okay, and then day 9, ganito yung itsura. Sabi daw po, ayan, pag mag-harvest ka ng orange, then nakapag-set ka ng specification level dyan na okay, pwede ko nang kainin ng orange pag day 3, day 5, day 7 siya. Yun yung range. From 3 to 7 days. Satisfied na ako. Tama? Okay yung quality. Pag kinain ko siya at day 1, halimbawa, nag-harvest ako ng orange at immediately kinain ko siya, ganito ang kulay niya. So, dissatisfied ako. Hindi ko gusto. Bad parts. So, as pag pinatagal ko yung orange, bad parts na rin. Hindi ko makukuha yung tamis ng orange. Okay? Yung quality na ina-expect ko. So, but then, dito po, day 5 daw po, based sa review nila, ito daw po yung number of days na kailangan mo para after harvest, para malaman mo na or matikman mo yung best na lasa ng orange. Okay? Ibig sabihin, dito, yung mga orange na hinarvest mo na day 5, sila yung orange na satisfied ka, fully satisfied ka. Ibig sabihin, itong day 3, partially, may point dito, may parte ng orange na hindi, hindi ka nasarapan, parang ganun. Hindi mo nagustuhan yung lasa. Similarly dito, sa day 7. Okay, partly. Pasok siya sa ating quality standards, sa level natin, pero hindi ka fully satisfied. Kumbaga parang may kulang, may mali, pero pasok naman. Okay? So sana nagigets niyo po yung konsepto ni Taguchi. So ang gusto nating maging result is most of our output will fall on this level, within the target level. At hindi okay lang. Gusto natin ay maganda yung resulta. Okay? Okay. So, there are also 70 QM tools. But I want, so ito, familiar na naman kayo dito, but I want to ensure na naintindihan natin kung saan daw siya ginagamit. Okay? So, itong tatlong ito, they are being grouped as those tools na ginagamit in generating idea. Ginagamit sa brainstorming, gathering data. Okay, gathering data. Check sheet, ginagamit siya to gather data, di ba? We have survey result, so, or you have progress result, then, yun, may check sheet ka. And then, scatter diagram, once na may data ka na, ipa-plot lang natin. You have the scatter diagram. And then, cause and effect, yun nga po, you're just asking for ideas mula sa team. Bakit nag-exist yung problema na to? Okay, ano kaya ang possible factors that result sa ganyang problema? Okay, once you have these sets of data, it's time to organize yung data na yon. I-organize natin siya through Pareto Chart, whereas sa Pareto Chart, ayun, chart nga siya, so easily marireveal natin saan ba nangyari yung problema. Ano ba yung area na kailangan natin bigyan ng attention, which eventually solve partly yung ating totality ng problema. And then, mas maganda rin po na i-represent natin or i-visualize natin siya into flowchart. Kasi dito sa flowchart, malalaman natin nasaan ba yung mga redundancies. Okay? So, flowchart, it is not just yung flowchart na nakikita natin na ganito. Hindi lang po ganyan yung flowchart. There are several other diagrams na pwede natin magamit. For example, spaghetti diagram. Ito halimbawa, spaghetti diagram. This is the layout ng SM. And then, pag-enter mo ng gate, okay, pumunta ka dyan, or sa depth store to. Then, umikot ka dyan. Ayan. So, lahat ng naging movement mo, green up, nilagay mo sa chart. This is an spaghetti diagram. Okay? And this is a way, again, to organize our data. Okay? So, more to that. Then, tools for identifying the problems. So, once na presenta natin yung data natin, eventually, marireveal natin. Itong histogram, actually, I think that's part of the organizing of data. But then, yun nga, once na meron ng problem, and then we're trying to look for solution. And once that solution is implemented, we try to monitor the results. So those results, that those results from the improved or from the implemented process ay pinirepresent natin through histogram and historical process control. I-review natin if may progress ba, maganda ba yung nabibigay na result or hindi. Okay? Again, check sheets. Example lang to, scatter diagram, trying to know the relationship of one item to another. If there is any, if there's kind of strong or weak relationship or inverse or direct relation. Then cause and effect diagram. Yan po yung example. This is the result, the effect. Example natin is a miss free throw. Halimbawa, ini-review mo, bakit ba yung tao nagmi-miss free throw? Okay? That could be because of the ball. That could be because of the way that person shoots the ball. And then that could be because of manpower training, the motivation that he has, the conditioning of that person, and or that could be because of the rim, and then or could be because of the backboards. Okay? So in here, generate lang natin yung idea. Okay? Kumbaga, this cause and effect diagram is not only done by a single person. This is a team effort. Kasi as much uh, feedback we're getting, and then ma-organize natin yung data natin and this way maka-classify natin, mas maganda. It means na wala tayong nami-miss. Wala tayong nalilimutan. Okay? Kasi pag isang tao lang to, napakarami po na posible niyang malimutan. Kasi he's just thinking on his own what he has experienced. But if we have a lot of persons involved in a team with mass or with, let's say, specialization dun sa process na yun, mas marami tayong makukuhang inputs. And those inputs can later be used when we are to address na yung problema. Okay? Another of the 7QC tools, we have Pareto chart. Actually, ayoko ng Pareto chart eh. It can be just presented in a bar chart, in a bar graph na lang, or in a column chart. Pero sa industry, yun nga, ginagamit naman itong Pareto. And then, yun, an example of Pareto. In here, you can see that if you are looking to address a problem, that uh, the area that you have to focus on is on the room service, other than the minibar, other than the check-ins, other than the pull hours. Okay? Most of the problem may occur dito sa room service. So, kumbaga, na-limit na yung area na bibigyan mo ng attention. Kumbaga, magdi-deep dive na lang tayo dito. Ano ba nangyari dito sa room service? Which, yun nga, later on, reveals kung ano yung pinaka-problema, pinaka-ugat ng problema, or root cause of the problem. And then later on, bibigyan natin ng countermeasures. And then flow charting, ayan. Yan, example of flow chart, but there are several other flow charts po. And then naturo naman sa ibang subject yung iba at sa akin, ayan yung ibang klaseng flow charts. In here, you can see yung mga redundancies, bakit may mga if and then dyan, bakit may mga decisions na kailangan gawin, then bakit kailangan nung process na to, and then later on, pwede mo siyang i-evaluate. If you like trying to lessen yung total time, okay, pwede ba natin tong i-simplify? Okay, yung mga processes na to, pwede ba tayong magkaroon dito ng prep time na kaagad rather than pwedeng gawin bang online yung process na to para ma-lessen yung contacts, parang ganyan. Then histogram, and then ito yung atin bibigyan attention later on, yung statistical process control chart. So statistical process control chart, yung simple lang po yung aking ituturo, yung pinaka-basic. I'm not part of the quality team. Okay? Kaya hindi ko po binibigyan attention ng SPC. But if you are fond of looking at process control, then yan nga, bigyan nyo na attention yung quality. Isa sa mga area po yun ng IE. Okay, so as you can see here, we're setting the target value. Okay, and then we have upper control limit and lower control limit. These are the specifications. And yung lawak niya, yun yung tolerance. Acceptable level. Okay, if the results fall dito sa within the upper and lower control limit, then we can say that we're giving good results. But then if it falls outside the level ito, ibig sabihin natin, process is out of control. Kahit isa lang yan, pwede na natin i-declare na process is out of control. And then, anong magiging action natin pag nalaman na natin na process out of control? Typically, stop natin yung process and then i-review natin bakit nagkaroon ng ganitong resulta. Bakit nagkaroon ng out of specs? Ayaw kasi natin na ang future results ay ganyan. Out of specs na. Ayaw naman natin na ganyan yung future results. Di ba? Meaning, na-pass na nakalampas na. Ayaw naman natin na maraming defects, di ba? So once na na-encounter natin na may bad result na tayo, immediately we have to take action. Stop that machine and evaluate ano nangyari. Ito mahirap kasi parang sa stocks na, okay, should I always look on this chart? Okay. Pero yun nga, may mga okay action naman dito na makakatulong on how to ensure na pag nakita na out of control, automatically magkakaroon na tayo ng stoppage. Okay? Okay. So, yun po yung statistical process control for your Lab 13 po, and I think this is already posted po. So, you just need to review the following cases, understand what Nike is doing regarding their ERP system, uh, what is the concept of Zara's fast fashion model, the JIT's approach from Dell, and the Grayton's Fin solution. Kung and then of course you're ready to look for other examples. Okay. Now, for the assignment, ako na ang gagawa ng paano to assign. So, ito po ang group 1, group 2, 3, 4, and group 5. Okay. So, this one is similar to our first two activities. Or almost researching lang, just for you guys to be more familiar on this kinds of concepts or how they implemented yung mga TQM concepts na yun. Okay, questions? Questions so far?
Na po.
Wala pong questions. Okay, hold on po. I'll just ping map. Hold on lang po. Okay. For our next topic po, we'll be covering yung statistical process control in like a brief detail. Hindi or in a high level detail. Hindi po siya ganun ka-detalyado. Okay? Kasi once again, hayaan ko po kayong mas matuto dun sa mas experienced sa constructing ng SPC. But what I'm after is just to give you an overview of what it is. Okay? Okay. Statistical process control. Okay po. Okay. So, statistical process control. Nakita naman natin kanina anong itsura ng SPC or ng ating control chart. Tama? Okay. So, sa ating control chart, sa ating statistical quality control, may dalawang konsepto tayo. One is yung statistical process control. Ito po ay nangyayari within our process na. And then, acceptance sampling. This one is happening pag, let's say, incoming yung parts or once yung parts ay natapos na. We're just doing sampling. Okay? So, statistical process control is a statistical technique that is used to ensure that the process meets the standards or yung resulta ng processes ay nami-meet yung ating target level. Malinaw? Okay po? Hold on. Where's the pen again? Okay. Yeah, itsura ng statistical process control. Yun po yan. Ito yung ating target. Ito yung ating standard. Okay, and then ito yung ating limits. So we're ensuring na yung result natin is within that level, within that standard. Okay? So acceptance sampling, it is determined acceptance or rejection of material evaluated by a sample. Halimbawa, may may 10 coils kang na-receive, 10 drum ng coils. So ito yung coil, yung 10 drums or 5 drums na na-receive. Okay? Sa acceptance sampling po, dahil nga po sabay-sabay nating na-receive yung material na yan, may option ang quality team na i-check lang ang isa. And kung ang isang ito ay pumasa as good part, then the rest of the items na na-receive natin ay good parts na din. Kung ito po ay rejected, kung ito ay reject, then kung ito ay bad, then lahat ng ito ay bad na. Okay? So yun po yung konsepto ng sampling. Ini-evaluate natin yung isang sample na to 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 be a representation or representation to be the representative of all these items na na-receive natin. Okay? So ayan. Okay, okay lang to. Yun nga po, kalimitan po sa acceptance sampling nangyayari siya dito sa tinatawag nating incoming quality. So may inspection na nangyayari dyan. And then may outgoing quality tayo dito. So ito naman po yung mga finished goods. Then ito yung mga raw mats natin. Okay? And then yung process control ay nangyayari dun sa operation natin. Halimbawa, we have several processes here. And then ito pong process na to or yung machine na yan ay may control chart na kanya, may control chart na kanya, may control chart na kanya. So minomonitor natin yung result. Bakit? Ayaw po kasi natin na mag-pass ng bad result from one process to another. Okay, kasi mas mahihirapan po tayo sa quality assessments natin. Okay. And then, of course, variability. Di ba? Not all the time naman will be giving the same results. Halimbawa, we're talking of yung basic concept, weight. Our target weight is, let's say, 16 grams. Then, itong upper limit natin is 16.05 grams. Then, itong lower limit natin, 15.95 grams. Okay? So, ito pong variability. Ang ibig sabihin po niyan, may mga cases tayo na yung variability natin is talagang existing na. Hindi na natin kayang i-eliminate. Kumbaga, ito, may result tayo 16.001, which is different din po siya sa 16.0 or 15.996. Ayan. No matter how close siya, ayan, nilalagay, or no matter what value siya, nilalagay natin siya dito sa ating control chart. Okay? And then, yun nga po, nagseset tayo ng level na to kasi ng upper and control level at hindi lang itong target line kasi alam naman natin na may natural cause of variation na hindi natin kayang eliminate. Kumbaga, ando na yun. Ando na yun mismo sa process. Kaya meron tayong upper and lower control limits. Malinaw po. Ngayon, our goal dito is to identify a second source of variation, which is assignable causes of variation. Ito po yung mga deviation na nangyari. Because halimbawa, ito, may result kang ganyan, 16.06. Bakit nagkaroon ng 16.06? Kasi nagkaroon ng konting vibration. Okay, kaya naging ganyan yung result. Or na, may nangyaring kung ano man, natagalan halimbawa sa molding or natagalan halimbawa sa furnace natin. Okay? So, yun po. We're trying then, if the natural causes of variation cannot be eliminated, this one is something which is the assignable variation are those kinds of variations na kailangan nating ma-review kaagad, ma-address kaagad, ma-solusyonan kaagad. Malinaw? Okay. So in essence, the application of statistical techniques to prevent SPC is an application of statistical techniques to detect, malaman natin Ano yung assignable causes of variation? Prevent. Okay, paano natin may iwasan? Mag-move yung result na yun to another process and then eliminate yung result na yun or yung product na yun, okay, by identifying the assignable causes of variation. Okay? Some example, this is the result natin. Yan po yung result natin. Halimbawa, first item na chinek, second item na chinek, third item, so on and so forth. And then we can construct the target level and then the upper control and lower control level. So as you can see here, meron na tayong bad part. Ito po. So bad part, ibig sabihin out of control na yung process natin kahit isang beses pa lang siya. Okay? So what I'm after here is yung basic concept po na pag may nakita tayong result na ganyan, kailangan na po nating ma-address kagad. Sa industry, napakahirap po niyan. Kung minsan, mga 10 na kaagad yung resulta, hindi pa natin nalalaman na out of control na yung process. Kasi nga po, posible mabilis yung ating throughput, mabilis yung ating nagiging result. So, hindi naman natin pwedeng titigan na lang to kaagad para palaging tingnan. And then kung minsan naman sumasablay yung ating pokayoke. Okay? Okay. So, yun po. So, in here, nakita natin may out of control na tayo and then kailangan natin siyang may address. So, ito po, we are setting this level of control limits because we know that some variation are inherent. Those are the natural causes of variation. And these are the area whereas kailangan nating may review. Pag may result tayo dito, stop the process and let's review why do we have this kind of result. Okay? Okay. In terms of data naman po, we're having several kinds of charts dito na ginagamit, but normally dinidivide lang natin siya sa dalawa. One is for variable data and the other one is for attribute data. For variable data naman po, we're using X bar chart and R chart. So X bar chart meaning yung ating mga data points dito. Ito po yung mga result na ngayon. Those are the average. Okay? Ayan, yan yung mga averages na yun. Okay, and then pag R chart naman po, meaning range chart. So that is the highest value less the lowest value nung particular sample size na yun or sample na yun. So both of them involves sorts of measurable data. Yung na-measure natin, something that can be quantified like speed, length, density, weight, so on and so forth. Okay? Then ito naman pong isa, attribute data, whereas we're using P chart and C chart. For P chart meaning proportion po, portion of bad versus all produced, all output. Okay, of bad. Okay, P charts, whereas we're trying to look on those proportion of bad parts against the overall output. And C chart is for the number of defects. Okay? So those two charts and several other related charts, those are using attribute data. Pag sinabing attribute data, discrete. Meaning, pwedeng dalawa lang yung resulta. Bad, good, pass, fail, go, no go, so on and so forth. Okay? May defect ba or walang defect? Okay? Unlike dito sa variable data na mini-measure natin. Okay? Okay. So, this is the process. So, hayaan ko na lang sila muna dyan. Then, we have several formulas in computing for the X bar chart. Maybe let's talk first about this one. So, X bar chart, ito yung formula niya. X double bar, meaning siya yung average of the averages, plus A2 R bar. R bar, meaning siya yung average range. A2, that's a value that is, or that's a constant na makikita po natin dito sa dyan. Depende kung ano yung sample size. And then for the R chart, ito naman po yung formula niya. formula nyo for the R chart. Maybe we can have a sample for that. I don't have the actual result dito, but this is something na kaya naman natin gawin sa Excel muna. So, let's say meron tayong ganito. For our first batch of process, kumuha ka lang tayo ng limang products or limang items na i-measure. For our first batch, ito yung naging measurement niya. Sabihin natin these are the weights or yung bigat. Okay? And then for the second batch, for the third batch, for the fourth batch of our inspection, for the fifth batch, so on and so forth. Okay? Malinaw po itong result na to. So parang ganito yan eh. Okay. Halimbawa po, meron tayong sa first batch. Sa first batch natin, may output tayo syempre dyan. Okay? Meron tayong 1 million output sa ating first batch. Sabihin natin ang first batch natin is from 9 to 10 a.m. Yung output from 9 to 10 a.m., we have 1 million. Okay, malinaw po. And then, yung iba po, gumagamit sila ng 100% inspection. Walang problema din. Yung iba, 200% inspection. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng output natin, lahat ng 1 million na yun, i-measure. Yung iba po, dahil nga po na-establish na yung process natin, maayos na, so we're just after monitoring it. So as a result, pwedeng mag-acceptance sampling lang tayo. Okay, let's just only 5 to inspect. Okay, 5 lamang po yung i-inspect natin. Out of that batch output, out of 1 million, 5 lamang i-inspect natin. And yun nga po, ang result ng 5 na yun ay ito. Malinaw po ba? Then we have a second batch which is from 10 to 11 a.m. Sabihin natin may 1.3 million output tayo. And then 5 lang po uli ang ating inspect. Those are the results for this. Question about the data. I'll take this as a no question. Okay, so we have this result. Siyempre, since our goal is to construct, or since this is a variable data, okay, so that's ito po para malinaw. Ito po, since those are variable data, those are continuous data, like scalable data, or can be measured in scale. So, and we are trying to construct X bar and R chart. Okay? So, for the, okay, i-erase ko na to ha. Okay. So, ang ginawa ko lang dito, in-average lang natin. So, itong mga points na to, ito yung ipa-plot natin sa ating control chart. Malinaw? Itong mga points na to. And then for the range, it's the highest and then the lowest value, or the minimum value, which happens to be 51 less 49. For this case, highest value is 70 less 36. We have 34. Okay? Malinaw po yan. So that's the range chart. And then for the X bar chart, hanapin natin yung average of the averages. Okay? And then for the range chart, we're just using this value. Okay? Malinaw po. In-average lang po natin yung mga range na to. And then, since nga po dalawang chart yung gagawin natin, sa industry po, hindi ka pwedeng tumingin sa isang chart lang. Kailangan po multiple charts yung titingnan mo. For example, ang magka-partner, X and R. Then, pwede rin po tingnan yung PNC or some other kinds of combination charts. Okay? So, ituturo ko lang na dito ay basic. Okay, so i-remove natin nga to para original. Okay. So, meron na tayong X double bar and average range chart. Malinaw po. Okay po. So, kasi kailangan natin mag-construct ng control charts dito. X bar chart and R chart. Okay? So, let's start with the center line for the X chart. Okay, hold on. Nakain lang itong gagawing. Okay. So, center line CL, meaning siya yung, kung i-construct natin, siya po yung ito, yung center line for your X bar chart. Okay? And then, ito yung ating upper control limit for your X bar chart. And then, you have the lower control limit for your X bar chart. Okay? So, again, just to make it more clear, we're looking into X bar po. Hindi yung X natin na yun. So, I wanted to resubscribe. Okay, malinaw? So, that center line is also that X double bar. Okay? Next is construct natin yung upper control limit and yung lower control limit using the formula kanina. Okay lang ha, i-delete ko na tong tatlong to. Yung formula natin kanina is ito. Okay? So, X double bar daw po. So, kung i-construct, ilalagay lang po natin dito for saan kaya? Dito ko na lang po ilagay ha. Yung formula. For the upper control limits that is equal to X double bar plus A2 R bar. Okay, ayaw niya. Siyempre, ayusin lang natin. Okay. Sorry. Dito ko na lang ilagay ha para hindi masyadong kagulo tayo. Kasi, ayan. Okay po, yan po yung formula ng upper control limit. Ngayon, X double bar, we're clear. It's 49. Tama. Then, yung R bar natin, clear din tayo. This one is 19.68. Malinaw po. Ngayon, ano yung A2? Remember our case here na for the first batch, out of 1,000,000 pieces, kumuha lang tayo ng 5 i-inspect. So, yung 5 i-inspect na yun, that is treated as our sample size. Malinaw? So, ibig sabihin, ng ating sample size, which is represented by letter N, that is equal to 5. Malinaw po dun. Okay po? Ngayon, kung 5 siya, ano ang A2 natin? Ang A2 natin is titingnan natin yung table. Okay, ang A2 natin at 5, N is equal to 5, 0.58. So, pag nasa industry ka nga pala po, hindi man Excel yung ginagamit. Maybe Excel po yung iba, pero yung iba, gumagamit lang sila ng Minitab para dito. Okay? But again, definitely Excel, very useful naman siya. Very extensive nung gamit sa kanya. Okay, so upper control limit, that is equal to, that's equal to X double bar plus A2. Malinaw po, R bar. Okay. Pero syempre, i-fix ko siya para madaling extend yung formula. So, meron na tayong upper control limit. Malinaw? Next is the lower control limit. For the lower control limit, it's just minus ang gagamitan. Okay? So, that's minus 38. Ibig sabihin, ang upper control limit natin is ito. Just ginagawa ko lang to para madaling mag-chart. And then, lower control limit is ito. So, makakapag-construct na tayo ng chart for the X bar chart. So, tingnan natin. So, isa-select ko to. Then, I think, gamitin na lang natin tong line. Okay. Ayan. So, meron na tayong X-bar chart. So, this one is ayan. Sabihin natin X-bar chart for the week. Ngayon, fix ko lang ng konti. Ayusin ko lang po yung chart natin. Kasi masyadong so, gawin ko minimum ay 30. Yan, para mas presentable. And then, for the colors ng line natin, center line, hayaan ko lang siyang again, ito naman depende na sa inyo kung anong preference nyo. Sorry, dito muna tayo. Okay na yan siguro. And then for the palitan ko lang siya ng kulay. Ayan. So may then ito, palitan ko lang siguro siya ng chart type. Gawin ko siyang scatter plot. Ayan. Okay, okay na siguro yan. Scatter plot. Okay? So ayan. So ano masasabi niyo sa system natin? Or sa process natin? Dito. Good. All good yung results. Tama? Question?
Apo.
Okay. Again, that's the basic ha. But there are several other rules para malaman natin if out of control na ba yung process natin or hindi pa. Kasi may mga indicators din doon. Hayaan ko na lang po sa IQC nyo yun matutunan. But again, basic lang naman yung goal natin dito. Okay, next is to construct for the R chart. So, syempre, ito papalitan ko lang yung X bar natin. Hold on. Gagawin ko lang siyang R. And capital letter R. Ayan, okay, ayaw niya gumana. So, similarly, ganun din yung gagawin natin. Lower control limit. Ngayon, for the R chart, so this one is for the X bar chart. So this time, range chart naman tayo. For the range chart, may formula rin po tayo na gagamitin. At ang formula na yun is, saan ka? Ito. Okay po. So, range chart natin is, copy ko na lang to para madaling mag-edit. Okay lang muna na small letter R. Okay. So, that is D. Sorry. That is D4. That is D4 R bar. Okay. And then for this one, that's D3. Okay. So, meaning, ang ating, dito ko na lang ilagay, D2 and, sorry, it's D4 and D3. D4 and D3. Sorry, hindi ko alam ang shortcut doon. Okay. Okay po. And then, andito D4 natin, looking dito sa chart. D4 natin at n is equal to 5, 2.12. So, ito naman pong table na to, it's the default, parang kagaya nung sa stat, may table kayo nung fix na. Pero yung iba, kino-compute to medyo mahirap yung computation, and then nagva-vary kung minsan yung results. That's using some sorts of standard deviation and editing variance as well. So, but for the meantime, gamitin lang muna natin itong mga default na factors na to. And then for the D3, at n is equal to 5, that is 0. Okay? So, D4 natin is ito, multiply by the range chart, average range. Okay? And then for the lower limit, that's ito, 0. Okay? Now, let's construct the chart for that one. Ito, brute force yung ginagawa ko kasi kailangan continuous yung data natin. Then R. And then 0. Okay. And then makakapag-construct na rin tayo ng chart. Sorry. Hold on. Copy. Paste. Ayun. Then, ilagay lang natin siya dito. So, pangalanan ko lang siya ng range chart. Or depende sa inyo kung anong klaseng pangalan. Then, ang gagawin ko, i-move ko lang to. Sorry. I think better ito. I-click ko, then select data. Or pwede rin namang choice nyo kung anong gusto nyo. Pwede kayong mag-create ng sarili nyong way. Then, okay. Ayan. And then, yan yung result. Okay, bakit may ganito? That is the range chart. Okay. Hold on. I think that's on the dito. So, ginamit kong to. Axis options, reset. Mukha yatang change chart type ko. This one is a line. This one is also a line. Oops, bakit ito lang ang aking data? Kasi 0. 0. Then, ang range chart ko ang nawawala. Ayun. Sige, no choice. Okay, ulitin ko na lang. So, edit. Okay. Yun. Okay. Next, upper control limit. Okay. Lower control limit. Okay. Then, ito po. Sala pala yun. Ito na lang yung gamitin ko. And then, add ako ng range. Okay. Bakit may kulang akong data? Ulitin ko na nga lang. Okay. Sige. No, wala namang problema dun eh. Insert. Ayan. Then, para medyo standard tayo. Then, pangalanan natin itong line chart for the weight. Hindi ko alam kung anong klaseng weight to. Yung data natin. And then for the upper and lower upper control limit. Lower control limit. Then, tanggalin ko lang yung ilang points na yan. Then, for our dito, gawin kong yan. Then, kulay orange. And then, for this one, change chart type ko lang siya. Range, gagawin ko siyang scatter. Okay. So, anong mapapansin natin dito sa result? Ayan, may initial analysis na ako dito. Okay, so let's talk first about XBAR chart. With the results, di ba, ang primary rule natin ang kaisa-isang rule na sinet lang natin is pag nag-fall outside yung point, we can consider that the process is out of control. And for this case, yan, naka-indicate siya na good. Walang nasa labas ng ating upper and lower control limit. Tama? Ito yung mga result ng X bars natin. So we can say that good yung result. In control pa. Process remains to be in control. Malinaw po? Okay? And for the range chart, ano masasabi niyo sa range chart? Ayun, wala namang nasa labas, di ba? Tama? So, initially, it indicates na the process is in control base dun sa ating single rule na pag nasa labas siya ng ating control limit, then out of control na siya. Malinaw? But, ano masasabi niyo sa variation? Ano masasabi niyo sa variation? Masyadong malawak. Ito yung target natin. Again, Taguchi concept. 'Di ba? Ayun, ang layo dito sa target. Ang layo sa target. Pero may iba na malapit sa target. So, ibig sabihin, it's good but not good enough. Okay? Similarly dito. So, yung iba, may other rules sila dito. Pero, and then dun sa other rules na yun, may i-treat siya as out of control na itong range chart. Ibig sabihin, overall, the process is out of control and must be reviewed. Malinaw? However, dahil nga po sa iisa lang po yung rule nating sinet, so for the meantime, i-consider natin siya as in control. Okay, but unang tingin ko dito, range chart, it's out of control na. Kasi yung iba, may kinukompute pa dito na ibang lines dito. Parang 2 sigma level, parang ganun. To see or to check if there's an indicator na papunta na sa out of control yung process and therefore immediate action must be taken. Okay? So once again, for the meantime, let's concede. And given we have only one rule for now, ayan, so both chart indicate na process is in control. Question? Question po about X bar R chart? Wala naman?
Wala po.
Okay. Ngayon, may mga cases of course tayo na yung isa ay out of control, pero yung isa ay within control. Like this one. Okay? So as you can see here, ang ating central tendency or ang ating X bar chart, again, measure of central tendency is X bar. Di ba? It's a mean. Within control. Tama? In control pa to. But then, yung ating variation, yung ating dispersion dito, nakikita sa IR chart, ayun, may out of control na dito. So overall, the process is out of control. Malinaw. So malinaw po. Similar din po dito. Okay? So hanggat maaari, pag po tayo ay quality engineer na, hindi lang po dapat isang chart yung titingnan natin, but we're looking for multiple charts. Kasi ayaw naman nating mapass yung may consider natin siya as good, pero hindi po pala. Okay? So kasalanan po yun ng inyong pagtingin sa charts. Okay po? Now, let's check the remaining two charts natin, which is yung C and proportion chart. Okay, so once again, attribute data yung magiging focus natin. Sa attribute data, isa categorical data. If it is a yes or no, acceptable, not acceptable, fail, pass. Okay? So, meaning counting, yung ating binibilang natin dito, ilan ba yung defective, ilan ba yung defects. Pag sinabi nating defective units, so halimbawa, you have 10 units. Saan ka? Okay. Ito yung units na produce mo. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 units. Ito, defective. Okay, ito, defective. Ano yung proportion mo ngayon? Proportion of defective. Defective, it refers to the unit. Pag defects, it refers to maybe yung mga misses. Okay, so but first let's talk about defective units. Proportion defective units is 2 out of 9. Or in percentage of defective, ayan, ilagay na natin sa percentage. Pero normally, denote siya as 2 over 9. That's your measure of P. Malinaw po? Or yeah, percentage of defects. Ngayon, pag sinabi nating number of defects, percentage of defectives, ayan, pag sinabi nating number of defects, ayan, you're looking on, halimbawa dito, may 3 tayong products. Okay, dito may 1, 2, 3, 4, may mga scratches. Binilang natin yung scratches na yun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. May 7 scratches tayo nakita. Dito, isa lang. Dito, sa product na to, 4. Then dito, 3 scratch. Then dito, isa. Malinaw po? Malinaw to? So again, we can treat this as defects. Okay? Yung mga scratches, those are defects. Okay po. And then this can be measured in terms of C, yung control chart, number of defects. So meaning, it's just you have to average nung 7, nung 1, nung 4, nung 3, nung 1. Malinaw po yung difference ng defects and defective. Okay? Pag defective, number of units ang pinag-uusapan natin. Pag defects, yun nga, number of defects. Okay, so itong formula sa P-chart, normally we're using a standard deviation of 3. Remember the Z-score? So P is the proportion of the mean or the average percent defective over all the samples plus the Z-score times standard deviation. That standard deviation is equivalent to the square root of P times 1 minus P bar divided by N. N is the sample size. Okay, and then minus naman po for the lower control limit. Okay. While for the C-chart, ayan, C-chart naman po is used when the quality cannot be measured in terms of percentage. Okay, so I think it's better to cite example for that first for the P-chart. Okay. Ngayon, so let's say we have, ayan, we have a weekly, or an engineer measures a flight for 30 weeks. Okay? Ina-assess niya if controllable pa ba natin yung flight delays or hindi na. Okay? Kasi, syempre, posible kasi na madami na siya pero acceptable pa pala sa ating expectations, sa ating standards na sinet. Malinaw? So, ito, for the first week, may na-encounter sila na 2 late flights out of the 100 flights na chinek nila. Malinaw po. For the 10th week, wala silang nakitang late flights. Okay po yun? Malinaw po itong data na to? Okay? And then, may measure natin yung P. So, P is a percent defective. So, defective is the number of late flights. I-divide natin sa total samples. Okay, so meron na tayong result. So, ito yung result natin. Okay? Then, syempre, the center line for P, it's the average of the averages nito. Okay, which happens to be, ayan, i-average lang po natin to. Okay? Malinaw po. Average lang po natin yung defects na yun. Or, another formula po is using this one. Ilan daw po yung total number of defects? No, total number of late flights? Malinaw? Malinaw po. And then, ilang flights yung inyong chinek? So, ano daw po yung summation nito? So, 30 times 100. That's 3,000 flights na chinek natin. And out of the 3,000 flights, 120 yung ating late flights. Meaning, ang average probability is yung total number of flights divided by total late flights divided by total number of flights na chinek mo. Which is giving us a similar result. Questions? So, kung walang question, so that is our center line. Okay? Yung 0.04. Okay, so we have set our center line. Ngayon, upper control limit daw po, ito daw po yung formula natin ulit. Okay? Ayan yung formula natin for the P chart. And normally, sineset natin yung Z as 3 sigma level. Okay po. So, ito po yung formula niya. So, para mailagay natin is equal to P plus Z natin, which is normally 3. Multiply lang natin sa square root. Square root daw po of parenthesis P times 1 minus P. Ayan. And then, i-divide daw po natin siya sa N, which ang N natin is the sample. Ilan daw po yung ating chinek na flight kada week? 100. Malinaw po. Malinaw din. And then, ito, ganun din naman. So, i-move ko lang yung formula niya sa P. And then, minus nga lang yung gagamitin natin. And kung mapapansin nyo, it's a negative. Wala namang negative probability, di ba? So, lagay na natin 0. Malinaw po. Okay. Then, upper control limit natin ay ito. Para lang ma-extend natin yung formula. Ayan, may upper control limit na tayo. Then, lower control limit is 0. So, ano masasabi niyo sa system natin? Sa flights, flight delays. Ayan, out of control na tayo. Malinaw? Process is out of control and must be addressed. Or sabihin natin frequency of late flights. Flights are out of control. Or we must address na to, yung problema na to. Ayun, nakita nyo yun? Yung points na yun, guys. So, indicator yun, out of control na yung process natin. Yan yung point na yun. Okay? Question? Pag nasa industry ka, guys, normally may nakaset na namang upper, lower control limit. Ang gagawin nyo lang, i-monitor to and then magkakaroon na kayo ng analysis. Bakit nangyari yung ganyang problema? Bakit natin na-encounter tong out of control? Ganun po sa industry. Malinaw po. Hindi na po kayo magsaset ng, posible mag-set kayo initially. Ito, pero yung normal, ayan, naka-establish na po yun sa industry. Asan yung controllable limits na yun. What you're just after is to keep an eye on this one, to monitor the results, and then kung may nangyari, i-evaluate nyo. Pupunta ka dun sa machine na nasira, na nagbigay ng ganitong result, and then i-review mo ano kaya yung nangyari. Ano nangyari nung panahon na to. Ganun po ang ginagawa. Okay? Questions? Questions?
Wala po.
Wala ha. Okay. Next natin is for the C chart. So once again, C chart po, ginagamit siya when we don't know gaano ba kadami yung ano ba yung denominator. Halimbawa, number of accidents per month. Okay. So, ano yung denominator mo dito? Di ba wala? And besides accidents, those are defects. Okay, parang raw number lang siya. Number of complaints per week, wala namang hindi naman pwedeng mag-set ka ng denominator dito. So, kumbaga, fixed number siya. Defects, di ba? Number of complaints. So, those are number of defects. Scratches, those are defects. Dimples, those are defects. Okay? Ngayon, simple lang po yung formula nito. Formula-wise, simple. But again, it's kind of difficult. Yung pag nasa industry ka, mahirap mag-measure nito, number of scratches. Kasi basta, pero yun nga, meron naman tayong mga visual system na ginagamit. May mga, ano bang tawag doon? Yung parang microscope na matutulong sa atin para ma-determine yung sketches. Ayan. Or mga X-rays vision system. Yeah, vision system ang tawag doon. So, with regards sa formula naman po, ganyan po yung formula niya. Hahanapin lang po natin yung average plus 3. Z po natin is 3. Or yung standard deviation or z-score na ginagamit. And then, square root of z. Okay? So, ayan po. So, let's say, ito po yung ating result. So, nagkaroon po tayo halimbawa ng parang NCAI, not NCAI, parang national test. Okay? And then, nireview natin yung ilang bang schools to? Yung 16 schools na to. And then, tinignan natin gaano karami yung errors na na-encounter. Sabihin natin yung test paper with errors na dito sa school na to. Okay? And then, ito po yung mga test errors natin. What you have to do is just, again, errors, those are defects. Tama. Defects po siya. And then, besides, wala po tayong denominator na gagamitin. So, hindi natin pwedeng mailagay as proportion. Okay? Kumbaga, infinite. Parang gayon. And then, para po malaman natin, para po malaman natin yung formula for, or ma-plot natin yung points, yung control chart natin, we'll just need to average ito pong number of defects na yan. Then, kung mapapansin nyo, wala rin naman range, di ba? So, definite, and besides, number. So, that's countable. So, hindi siya pwedeng variable data. So, it's only a C chart, U chart, or so ang pwedeng natin gamitin. Okay, and then upper control limit, ito po yung formula niya. So, we have ito, average, plus 3, Z being 3, multiply by the square root of ito. Okay, and then C bar, ito, minus 3, multiply by the square root of ito. And then, makakapag-establish na tayo ng control chart. Ako ha? And then, ano mapapansin natin? So far, ayun, kahit na may point dun, na close siya. Ito yung point na yun. I think that is 27. 26 yung ating yung lower control limit. So, still pasok pa rin po siya. What does it mean? Kung interpret natin. So, it just mean na in control pa yung process natin. Ibig sabihin, yung number of errors na ina-expect natin is within tolerable level. Okay? And still effective pa rin po yung ating test papers or test results na binigay. Question? Question po? So dun sa video natin or sa recording natin for today, I'll be including a link of this file. Or you may check other videos recordings natin dun sa other sections kasi andun na rin po tong file na to. Okay, any questions? Any questions regarding SPC quality management? Seems
Wala
none.
na po, sir.
Wala
Okay.
po.
Okay, so again, it's very basic pa lang yung binigay ko sa inyo. Napakadami pa pong mga charts. And then, mas madami pa pong knowledge kayo matututunan once you undergo yung training sa IQC naman. Or IQC, I think yun yung subject nyo. Okay, so with that said, let's move dun sa second agenda natin, which is your presentation. Okay po. So, why don't we start? sa presentation natin. I'll be calling on the first group. So for the first group, kindly share screen. Anyone? Anyone from the first group?
Wait lang po.
So, bali, dalawang presentation, magkasunod na kaagad. Okay lang po ba?
Sir, so pwede pong lab 9 and 10 muna.
Yeah, walang problema. Apa.
So, bali po, this is the house of quality of designing a new phone model. The part which is on the left side is the customer requirements or the customer expectation for the design product. So, bali po sir, dito po kami na po yung naglagay yung halimbawa po is long-lasting battery, warp speed processing, etc. So, on the upper part po, this is where we call technical requirements of the design product. So, ito po yun. Bali po kung ano po meron dun sa product, yun po yung nilagay ko po. So, ito po, this symbol represents high relationship. Then, ito po, medium relationship. And ito po is low relationship. So, we will analyze or evaluate the relationship of customer requirements to technical requirements. So, ito po. Titingnan po natin yung relationship po nung dalawa. Halimbawa po is ito pong long-lasting battery. Ano pong yung relationship niya dito sa 6,000 milliampere battery? So, bali po, based on my analysis po is high relationship po siya. Kaya po yan, nilagay ko po ng ganun. Tapos po,
Okay, so yan yung relationship na na-establish natin. So, again, I'm hoping na dito nagkaroon kayo ng debate or nagkaroon kayo ng group meetings on how to determine kung may relation ba or wala. And kung may relation, how high. Tama ba? Okay, and for your technical requirements, all of those are measurable. Tama? Having a quad core, it's a yes or no, still that's measurable. 1 or 0, di ba? A widescreen, how wide is it? Split screen, ability to do the split screen. Okay, so yep. So looking
So
good so far.
after that po, we will analyze the relationship of the technical requirements po. We should use the symbol plus for strong positive relationship, plus for weak positive relationship, negative for weak negative relationship, and negative for strong negative relationship. So for example po, the relationship of Qualcomm Snapdragon to 6,000 milliampere battery. Based on my analysis po, it is a weak negative. Ito po. It is a weak negative relationship. Hindi man po kasi naka-direct yung relationship, but hindi gagana ng ayos yung processor kung hindi okay yung battery. So after that po, we should get the importance rate. Tapos po, in order to get the importance rate, we should multiply the survey result, ito po siya, and the value of the relationship of customer requirements to technical requirements. So, bali po yung ganito po, may value po siya, katulad po nito, high relationship, ang value niya po is 9, pag medium relationship, 3, and low relationship is 1. So, para po makuha, example po is, wait lang po. Ang ingay.
Ang product lang to, ano?
Opo, halimbawa po ay ito po. 8 times, ano pong value nito? 972. So, dito naman po is 6 times 3, 18. Then dito. Tapos po, pag after nyo po makuha yung product nun, i-add nyo po siya para po makuha yung importance rate. Para naman po makuha yung importance percentage rate, kailangan muna po nating i-add lahat itong importance rate. Then each value po ng importance rate, i-divide doon times 100 para makuha yung importance percentage rate.
Yep, that's a relative importance. Yes.
Tapos here at the right side naman po, we will see the competitive assessment. So, in evaluating it, I choose 1 as the lowest and 5 as the highest po. So, bali po, dito naman po, halimbawa po, kumuha po tayo ng dalawang company as competitor po, then beside doon, our company po.
So the
Tap-
assumption here is you are already an existing phone manufacturer and then you are trying to create a new model of phone. Tama pa? Kasi may value na tayo ng our company eh. So we're expecting that meron na tayong units na pinoproduce.
So, ayun po, for example po is yung long-lasting battery po ni company A. Ano po, yung rate ko po is 4, then dito po is, sa company B po is 2, and sa our company po is 3 po. Bali, ito naman pong paglalagay po namin is, hindi lang naman po ako naglagay, bali, 6 po kami. Para po hindi po bias.
Yes.
Tapos po yung for the conclusion of the QFD of designing a new phone model po. So first, the company should focus on the technical analysis of widescreen which have 167 in importance rate. So ito po yung lumabas po is mas malaki, pinakamalaki yung widescreen. So next is Qualcomm Snapdragon which have 142 importance rate, then 258 internal storage which have 141 importance rate. In the analysis of competitors, so ito po, the company did a great job for accumulating the customer wants, which is wireless charging and fingerprint sensor, which got the highest assessment. However, the company should improve multiple windows, which has the lowest assessment in order to compete in the market. So, bali sir, ito pong QFD po ng designing a new phone model. Same process lang po siya dito sa ginawa namin sa designing a new laptop po.
Ginawa
Ilan
niyo
po?
lahat.
Dalawa lang po. Kasi po, akala ko po 4, sabi po nung kagroup ko 2 lang.
Actually, isa lang.
Ah,
Sorry.
ganun din lang po naman yung process.
Ganun lang din. Okay.
Tapos dito naman po, punta po tayo dito sa Lab 10.
Okay, lab 10.
Same process din naman po, pero wait lang po.
Yan yun sa diet, yung parang
Opo.
diet
Ang
plan.
kaibahan lang po is, dito po sa Lab 10, yung given na po yung QFT. So, this is the house of quality of, or the QFD of for lean and mean weight reduction company. Wait lang. In order to complete the house of quality, the product design team has constructed the initial customer interviews. Example, these are the survey results for lean and mean weight reduction company. So, yan po. Kunwari po. Next is we should know the relationship of customer requirement to technical requirements. Just like in laboratory 9, ito po yung 9. Yung mga symbol po, ito po for high relationship, ang value po niya is 9. Ito po for medium relationship, 3 po ang value. Then, ito po for low relationship, 1 po yung value. For example po ulit is low in fat has high relationship in fat content. Then, to get the important rate, multiply the survey result to the value of the relationship of 2 variables, then add the product. Same process po ulit.
Yes po.
To get the important percentage rate, divide the value of the important rate, divide the value of important rate to the sum of the value in important rate multiplied by 100. Ganun po ulit yung process. Tapos po ay for its roof.
Yes, ganun
Yun
din.
po, pag-compare lang po ulit.
So that's an assessment na galing sa inyo, no?
For example, opo, gets naman po.
No, actually,
Tapos ay ito po ulit yung symbol.
actually, yan yung difficult part. Wala naman tayong, actually, Pilipino, hindi masyadong concerned sa cholesterol content, number of calories, hindi alam yung relationship. Tama? Ako man din, personally, hindi ko alam. Wala akong kalam-alam dito. So again, thank you for trying your best to come up with this kind of relationship and even narrowing it down if that's a strong positive or a strong negative.
Yan, masyadong malaking effort to. Again, hindi natin masasabi kung tama to or mali, but the only one or the only people who know this, if you've done this correctly, ay yung mga talagang specialist sa that let's say sa diners, mga ganyan. Or sa mga nag-o-offer talaga ng service regarding diet, diet plan, mga nutritionist. Ano?
Opo.
Okay.
So, yun po. Dito po. So, for the competitive assessment po ulit, 1 is the lowest and 5 is the highest. So, there are 2 company beside our company. For low in fat, Ace Diner, we got 4. Then, for B's Diner is 5. Then, for our diner is 3 po. Tapos, ito po, hindi na po lilagyan kasi po wala po talaga kaming basis. Tapos,
Correct.
ito po yung conclusion po at saka recommendation. So, dito po yung mga nakuha na yung mga important trait po. Then preparation time with important trait of 168 po yung una. Then next is line of instruction with important trait of 153. Next is sizes of portion which got 113 on important trait. Then next is price should also be considered having 87 in important trait. Then last po is the customer prioritize meat and vegetable ratio getting 81 in important rate, having 8% in important percentage rate. So, ito po yung bale, pinaka-recommendation po namin is first add-on offered to customize commodity. Next is packaging type to enhance the shelf life. And lastly is the color of the consistency in their product design so that the customer wants will meet their own expectation and the company will increase their market segment. Yun lang po, sir. Thank you po.
Yeah, thanks a lot po for giving a lot of effort sa paggawa ng laboratory activities natin. Okay, so hopefully naman naka-attend kayo ng webinar last time, and then even if it's related sa PDD, di ba, in particular. So, still ito pong ating House of Quality na yan, nagagamit sa industry. It may not be all the time. It may be once a year lang. Nyo pwedeng mag-establish ng ganyan pag lang inask kayo magkaroon ng review. But definitely, it's not a one-man team. Ito po ay ginagawa with a lot of experts pa. Okay? And a lot more experienced people. Okay? So, maraming salamat po for the first group. So, why don't we proceed sa second group? Okay, for the second group. Second group po? Or anyone? Any group
Sir,
po?
wait lang.
Okay
Parang
po. Sige po.
Sir, 2 po yung aming ginawa. Ang
Sige.
consider po namin product is yung pinopropose po na project po sa PDD, which is yung multifunctional chair po.
May existing na kayo. Yan yung project nyo.
Ano pa lang po, parang wina-workout pa lang po.
Okay. Kasi sa PDD, kailangan na meron kayo House of Quality, ha. Yung nakasanayan na papel sa PDD, walang ganyan. Pero I'm hoping na alam natin yung target market natin. That's first thing. Okay, sino ba yung target market customers natin? And then, ano yung mga possible na ways to measure if we're delivering yung product na yan, if we're delivering yung functionalities niya in accordance with the quality, with the expectations ng customers. Okay pa.
So, yun po, sir. Nag-ano po kami, nag-set po kami ng, kumbaga po sa amin is, yung requirements po dun sa paggawa po yung chair po, which is nagkama po kami sa mga, yung durability po ng product, yung pag-move po sa kanya. Basta po yung mga, yung parang gusto po ng customer na makuha po based dun po sa chair na mapoproduce po. Kumbaga po yung comfort
Yes,
para po sa product.
yes. Sa industry po, as much as possible, ay medyo mas detalyado. Not as detailed po, pero parang hindi ganun ka-high level na kagaya nito. Durable, in what sense? Safety, on what sense? Lightweight, anong ina-expect nilang range? Halimbawa, how light it is? And so on and so forth. And performance, performance on what sense? Convenience on what sense? So hangga't maaari po ay mas specific but not too much detailed.
Ito, sir.
Okay?
So, yun din po. Nag-set din po kami yung parang functions po ng magiging chair po, which is yung magkaroon po ng parang low power consumption. Consider din po yung ergonomic design, yung mga metal components, fabrics, and tungkol po sa electricals. And yun po, ang ginamit na lang po namin para po direct na po is numerical po, instead po yung parang legend po ng
It's fine, yes.
gawa po ito po kasi parang template po online.
Okay.
So yun po. Tapos yun po, nagkama po kami sa gantong result, which is nagtulong-tulong po kami para lagyan po namin ng score kung ano po yung relationship dun sa customer requirements po tsaka sa functions po.
Okay, hold on po. May napansin ako. Ergonomic design is durable. So, again, it's your assessment naman, but I'm hoping na kaya nating i-supportahan yung ating numbers na yung ating evaluation na yan. Like for example, how correlated is it yung the chair being movable and having electrical components? Does it necessitate na pag may electrical components ka, mafulfill natin yung durability niya? You know what I mean po? So sana po, pag nailagay nyo ito sa papel nyo, mas clear po and kaya nating suportahan yung mga analysis natin yan or assessment natin. Sorry. Okay? But for now, since it's your first time naman, so hindi tayo ganun kahigpit.
So yun po. Since naman po siya, parang naka-template na po. Yung kagaya rin po yung isang product din po para makuha po yung parang ito pang technical importance ko, which is yun naman po, may formula naman po. So, and then yun po, nag-assume na lang po kami na meron din po nagpo-produce ng same product, and yun po, nilagyan na rin po namin ng nag-assume na rin po kami na ito pong scores po na tayo based din po sa na-produce nila na same product po. Yun po.
Okay, so kung kayo gagawa ng chair, ang priority natin is that the chair must be ergonomically designed.
Designed.
But again, how will you measure that you're fulfilling that ergonomic design. So that's a different topic, but
Apo.
sana may ano kayo dun, point of reference kayo dun.
Hmm.
Okay?
Okay
So,
po.
thanks a lot po. Okay, so same
Opo. Tapos ang
lab
next po
10.
namin ay lab 10 po. So, ganun din po yung ginawa namin. Nag-assign lang din po kami ng legend or symbol po
Mm.
para makapag-rate po kami. So, dito po sa taas, gumamit po kami ng strong, moderate, at saka no correlation po. Tapos po, dito sa bandang gitna po, nag-assign din po kami. Ah, kung mapapansin nyo po, wala po kaming competitive assessment since ang naging priority po namin ay yung ano po magiging epekto ng mga ito sa weight loss po.
Mm.
Tapos po, sa sheet 3 po makikita po yung yung computation po na ginawa namin. Hindi ko lang po nalagay yung value po ng mga symbol pero siya po ay 10, 15 at saka 5 po.
Okay.
Tapos times ko po siya tapos pinalas ko na lang din po. Tapos ang nagkaroon po siya ng epekto sa sodium content at saka sa meat and vegetable po. Tapos sa recommendation naman po,
Yan po yung naging findings namin sa recommendation. Yung based on the QFD yield po, it's highly encouraged that nutrition intake must be based on proportionate per serving. Finding this, the list of concern drops out in a reasonable price as condition to the sodium content na sinabi nga po kanina. For the company intends to alleviate the client to lose the weight, the inclination will focus on the high of concern, which is the client must prioritize more on the meat and vegetable ratio.
Okay.
Po.
So
Yun
that's
po,
a high concern news.
yun po. Supporting na lang ito.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Hi, thank you so much po. So again, it's really, really difficult for me to give you the right answer for this. It's all based on your assessment. So thanks for doing it. Okay po. Maraming salamat po for the second group. Third group tayo.
Sir, okay na po. Nakikita na po.
Yes po. Nakikita na po.
Dito po, ang product po namin ay chair. Dito po sa side na to, ito po yung sa tingin namin yung makikita po gusto pong makita ng customer namin. Tapos dito po ay yung characteristics po ng aming chair po.
So, okay, hold on. For the characteristics ensure natin na kagaya ng comment ko kanina, since those are technical requirements, so mas specific dapat. Halimbawa, materials. Anong materials yung ibig niyo sabihin dyan? Like, the chair must be composed of 30% wood or made of steel or so. Then,
Okay.
angle of backrest. So, again, pwede naman siyang mailagay sa measure din. Pricey. Dimension. Dimension meaning will it fit the average or anong klaseng dimension niya? Wheels? Anong wheels to? Again, hanggat maaari kung kayang i-specify or mas specific, mas okay. Lalo na technical requirements. Okay, kasi dapat, since tayo nga po ay nasa industry or kayo po ay magpo-produce ng upuan, so mas alam nyo ano yung technical requirements na ito. Kaya nyong mabigyan ng numerical value. Okay? So next time, pag mag-create kayo ng another QFD, please consider that.
Tapos ngayon po, ang ginawa po namin, nilagyan po namin ng relationship matrix po kung most important, moderate. or ano po. Tapos, nung nalagay na po namin, in-average po namin and kinuha po namin yung percentage. And ang nakita po namin na pinaka-important po sa amin ay yung price.
So kung kayong nga po ay manufacturer nito, madali nyo na ma-determine ano yung price range.
Opo.
And then,
Tas,
yes, yeah, go ahead.
Sige po, kayo po muna.
Di ba? Go ahead.
Sige po. Tapos dito po sa competitors, pumili po kami ng 3 different chairs po na pwede po namin i-compare sa aming chair.
Then 5 being the highest, then yan.
Yes po. 5 is the highest and 1 is the lowest po.
So, okay, almost pantay-pantay naman yung level other than holds beverage, ibig sabihin yung different world chair and Amaya chair hindi capable to hold beverages.
Opo, sir.
Okay. Hindi ganun ka-capable. Okay. Okay po. Next.
Sige po.
Yan na yung last na. Okay. Hold on po. Balik tayo dun. So again, just a piece of advice. Kung kayo po ay gagawa ng QFD and then you're using a lot of colors, hindi po siya ganun kaganda. Okay. Hindi siya ganun. Hanggat maaari po, if ilalagay siya sa papel nyo or ipipresent nyo sa industry, hindi po ganun kadaming kulay.
Okay
Ano?
po.
So it's, for example, yun sa relationship natin, ang hirap mabasa. Ang hirap makita alin yung most important kasi nga po parang nagko-complement yung kulay ng orange at green. Yan. Ayan, so next time, siguro less color. Much better. Okay po, thanks po. Okay. Okay po, we're seeing your screen na po. Ayun.
Sir, ang amin pong product is office chair po. Hindi lang po basta office chair. Meron po siyang, yung pong sa likod po, may massager din po siya. Tapos pwede din po siya sa mga health purposes po. Kagaya po. Kapag po, may switch po kasi siya dito sa gilid ng armrest po. Which is doon po nyo i-select po kung ano pong mode ang gusto nyo dun sa backrest po. Pag po vibrate, ang ibig sabihin po nun, magmamassage po. Pero po, kapag hit po yung naramdaman nyo sa likod, yun po ay yung para pong sa health po yung kapag po yung sa mga matatanda po. Ganun po.
Okay, so hold on. It's movable, diba? So may gulong.
Apa.
So, and then it requires electricity.
Apa.
So,
Nasa ilalim po siya ng seat po. Yung pong parang battery.
Battery pack. Okay.
Apa.
So, i-charge.
So, ito po yung engineering drawing po namin.
Okay. Piece of advice. Wag, ayan, masyado pong malaki yung font. Parang ang tinitingnan natin, ang mangyayari kasi, unang tingin, dun sa font naka-attention. Naka-focus ang attention rather than sa drawing.
Apa.
So again, paliitin natin yung font, palakihin natin ng konti yung drawing. Konti lang. In such a way na may spacing pa rin. Okay. So great.
Yan po. Sa engineering drawing naman po, ang makikita lang po natin yung mga sukat-sukat lang po ng bawat view. Yung taas po, yung likod, yung front, at saka yung side view po nung aming office chair.
Okay.
Tapos po, ito po yung bill of materials.
Okay, yun
kung
nga.
ilan pong quantity ang kailangan sa bawat material na gagamitin po.
So, masyadong malaki yung letters. And then, pag nasa industry ka, again, iba kasi yung pag nasa industry ka versus pag binibili mo na itong product na to. Pag nasa industry ka, yun yan, naka-part number yung ito, hindi part number A, B, C. Siguro, mas magandang part number. Halimbawa, A-101C, parang student number, parang ganun.
Apo.
Then, kung ito po ay nasa packaging na, siguro okay itong ganyan. Ganito makikita talaga sa packaging. Pero again, pag nasa industry ka, ibang usapan. And
Apa.
we are doing this of materials with in perspective na nasa industry tayo. Okay?
Apa.
Okay po. So, and aside from that, again, this bill of materials, nandiyan naman lahat ng content niya. We have the part number, the description, the quantity. However, there are other bill of materials which consist of costing, magkano yun, and then magkano yun per piece, then unit of measure din. Like, for example, merong ibang dyang kilogram, may ibang in inches, may ibang ganyan kung anong measurement. And then we also have a column to know if binili mo ba siya or ginawa or manufacture. Kasi posible yung shui, itong gas mechanism is binili nyo. Itong mga screw binili nyo. Pero ginawa mo yung seat pad or headrest, ginawa mo din. Ginawa mo rin yung armrest with switch. Okay? So again, ganun po yung bill of materials. But for the meantime, this is okay. Pag nasa PDD kayo, mas madaming detalyado, mas madaming detail. Okay?
Apa.
Okay.
Next po is assembly drawing po.
Okay. Yeah,
Kung
very good.
paano po, yan. Step by step po. Tapos ito din po yung para pong detail po dun sa taas, yung pong
Para
bill of materials. Pinalitan lang po ng kung ano pong itsura para po madaling malaman kung ano po yung ipagkakabit-kabit.
para kasi siyang instruction hindi ka
Apa.
instruction
Apa.
manual.
Kasi ito
Okay.
po yung final.
Okay, good. Yun nga lang
Tapos ito po
na-highlight yung
text po.
Sige, okay lang yan. Okay lang yan for the meantime.
Tapos ito po yung assembly diagram na.
Yan. Hold on. My bad. It's not assembly diagram. It's assembly chart. Assembly diagram, assembly drawing is almost the same. It should be assembly chart. Assembly chart. Okay?
Apa.
So, my bad. Okay. Ano to? Yeah, very good. Kompleto. Nandyan yung assembly, sub-ASI. Ang inspection mangyayari bago ilagay yung wheel assembly at base assembly.
Apa.
Sure po. Ano bang itsura ng wheel assembly at base assembly? Can you go up?
Saan ba yung wheel?
Siguro sa
Parang ito pong 5. Pag pinagsama po siyang dalawa. Ito po kasi yung wheel assembly at saka po ito po yung base assembly.
Hindi. Oo, yan nga po yun. Pero parang may mali. Kasi ako, bibili ko lang ng office chair. So, and ang difficulty doon, kung ako kasi hindi yun basta dinidiin lang. Okay? Kasi may case na, halimbawa, nag-transfer ako ng upuan, binuhat ko siya, natatanggal yung wheel assembly and base assembly na yun dun sa mismong upuan. So, maganda siguro ay yung inspection natin is after base assembly. Again, that's what I think, pero depende rin yun sa inyo. Then, pwede
Dito
natin
po sa A6 po.
after po ng A6. And then, pwede natin lagyan ng mga stickers. Pwede tayo maglagay ng sticker or kung ano man. Or packaging or box sa padulo para may A7 kayo.
Sige po.
So, those stickers, those box could be the number 16, number 17.
Apa.
Okay? Yeah.
Apa.
So again, i-rename lang natin yan assembly chart.
Apa.
Mas clear. And hoping na nakalagay din po to sa PDD nyo at mas maganda po ang format kasi very informal po yung font size, font style. Hindi naman ganun ka-critical pero yun nga, medyo informal. Nevertheless, kompleto naman. Good.
Apa.
Very good.
Thank you po.
Thanks a lot po. Hirap nito Inauto nyo yun?
Sa ano po? Chief Architect po.
Okay. Ibang kung yun yung mas madali, why not?
Apa. Thank you po, sir.
Okay, maraming salamat po. Next group tayo. Group 4 po. Meron ba group 4? Sorry. 38 tayo kanina. Again, I'm not checking yung yung class list pa natin. But do we have group 4 po?
Sir, wait lang daw po.
Sorry. May natawag na sa akin.
Sir, okay na po?
Yes po. Oh, sorry. Na-disconnect ako.
And nandun po yung sa internal storage, yung sa cost po ng production, sa battery, energy consumption, camera resolution, yung ganun po. Tapos po yung nasa may gray na mga box po, ayun po yung relationship po nung sa technical at saka po yung sa customer, ano tawag doon? Customer
Requirements.
Yung circle na may circle pa sa gitna, yung dark po, ang equivalent po nun ay 9, tas yung circle po ay 3, tas yung triangle po ay 1, which is yung weak.
Correlation.
Opo. Tas yun po, nag-usap-usap po kami kung papaano po yung kung ano po yung relationship nila. Tapos po, yung nasa may upper part po, yung sa may para pong bubong,
Okay.
ayun po yung combination nung mga nasa technical aspects po. Tapos po yung strong positive ay sa yung may double plus po, tapos po yung plus lang ay positive, negative.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. Like for example, RAM and then operating system. So definitely mataas talaga yung relation nila. And weight and then dimension. Ay, very
Tapos,
good.
may mali lang po kami dito, sir.
Hindi ko na
rate.
Oo. Dapat ay
Average po namin. Dapat po yung sa some product po, sir, di ba?
Yes.
Sa competitor research naman po, nag-cite po kami doon ng mga brand name po. Tapos nirate po namin siya po doon sa performance po nila.
Ang problem kasi dyan sa competitor analysis na yan or assessment is yun nga, ang Huawei, they have several phone models. Ang Samsung, ganun din. So, what phone model ang tinignan mo? Kasi, syempre, yung ibang phone models nila ay cheap. Yung iba, napakamahal. Di ba? So, ano yung tinignan natin as reference point dito sa mga values na nakalagay? So maganda next time is indicate natin ano yung particular model.
Opo.
Again, that is just a suggestion naman. Okay, for the importance, anong priority natin?
Yung sa yung sa cost of production.
Although mali nga yung values, pero still that is what we have to focus on if we want to deliver a better product dun sa mga customers natin. I-deliver natin addressing all those, mainly those customer requirements. Tama?
Opo.
Okay, thanks a lot po.
Ang sunod po yung sa Lab 12 po.
Corporate CSR. I think that is CSR. Okay. Okay. Ma'am, nag-share na ba kayo ng screen ulit?
Sir, wait lang daw po
Yep,
ulit.
yep. Okay.
Yun po. Ang sa amin pong na-assign ay yung sa Starbucks po. Corporate Social Responsibility Successful Sustainability Design Efforts. So, si Starbucks daw po ay nag-umpisa noong 1971 and they started as a roaster and retailer of whole bean and ground coffee bean, tea and spices with a single store in Seattle's Pike Place Market. So, today daw po, they have more than 30,000 retailer stores in 78 markets.
Yep.
Sa susunod po na slide, doon po makikita yung graph po ng Starbucks, yung total number po ng stores niya globally. Kita na ba?
Hindi pa po. Ay, hindi pa na i-next.
Ayan, okay. Mabagal po yata yung net ni ni Maju po, sir.
Mm. Sige. Hintayin na natin. Okay? Okay.
Ayan na po pala.
Mhm.
Ang corporate social responsibility daw po ay base po sa tatlong pillars. Una po yung community, environment, and ethical sourcing.
Okay? Yeah, which is very common naman, ano? How to give back to our community. How can you ensure that we're having less impact on our environment and ensuring that the sources of our of the products we're producing or we're catering ay sourced mula sa source ethically, like less like yeah, no labor issues or so. Ayan. Okay. Okay, mukhang mabagal nga yung internet nila.
Po, sir, pasensya na.
Hindi, okay lang po. We still have time naman. We're not in a rush.
Yun po, under po nung sa community, ay yung partner and ilan po sa mga partner for the Philippines, Plasid, Hope in a Bottle, partner since 2020.
Mm.
Yung profit na nakukuha nila is pagbibuild ng classroom.
Yep.
Habitat for Humanity and over 140,000 families nag-benefit.
Mm.
Capcom Foundation started in 1972 and tapos po yung sa Planet Water. Ang purpose po nila ay yung clean water impoverished community. Sunod po yung community service. Ini-encourage po nila yung mga partners or po yung mga customers 1 million hours of since 2015. Last 8. And inaalaw po nila yung mga partners nila to organize projects such as mentoring students, improving hiking trails, and conducting cleanups. Tapos ng award na once na po nila yung project and na-meet po yung minimum, magbibigay po sila ng $1,000 to $2,500. Ano naman po sa youth, ang goal po nila ay ma-engage yung 50,000 young people who will turn, innovate, take action, and inspire 100,000 individuals in community. And nag-a-award din po sila 100 participants na yon na yung ay $2.6 million para po po at yung masupport po yung youth. Sa Starbucks, it in 1997 literacy program in US and Canada. So to support communities, ang ginawa po nila, nagkaroon po sila ng mga program po ganon. Halimbawa po yung nurturing young leaders, supporting coffee, tea, and communities, access to get clean education in China, and so yung community service din po. Next, yung sa environment po.
Okay.
So, ayun po, una po ay yung recycling and reducing waste. By 2015 po, control waste collection and serve 5% beverages in using reusable cups.
Yeah. Which I think is nangyayari na ngayon. Yeah. They're starting making use of more reusable cups.
Opo. Tapos po, nagkakonduct din po sila ng recycling sa mga stores nila. So, yung mga yung cardboard boxes, milk jugs, syrup bottles, coffee grounds, i-recycle po nila yun dun sa store nila. Meron din po silang program na Greener Cups. And ano po siya, may timeline po. In 1997, nagdevelop po sila ng recycled content cup sleeve as a way to protect customers from hot beverages. And para po ma-avoid po yung double cupping. Syempre po kapag po, di ba, yung
more consumption.
In 2000 po, nag-launch ng first hot beverage per cup with 10% post-consumer recycled fiber. So, recycled In year 2008, nag-come up po sila in a new plastic cup that has less of an environmental impact as their original plastic cups. In 2009 po, nag-host po sila ng Cup Summit na naglalayon po na makabuo po ng agreement on criteria for a comprehensive recyclable cup solution. And nagpatuloy po siya hanggang 2011. Sa energy consumption, sabi po, yung energy use po ng Starbucks ay umaabot po ng 80% of their entire carbon footprint, which is yung malaki. And ang goal po nila is to reduce energy consumption by 25% and to cover 100% of electricity consumption with renewable energy
source. Yep. Like solar panels And the next?
Yung water conservation naman po. So, syempre po, yung water ay napakahalaga pong sa kanila. And ang goal naman po nila dito is to reduce water usage by 25% in company-owned stores. Sa green building naman po, ang goal po nila doon ay yung mag-build ng new company-owned stores to achieve LEED certification. Tapos po sa climate change, in addition to increased erosion and infestation by pests, coffee farmers are reported shifts in rainfalls and harvest patterns that are hurting communities and shrinking the available usable land in coffee regions around the world. So ang goal po nila is to support programs that facilitates farmers access to carbon markets, allowing them to generate additional income while helping to prevent deforestation.
Yep.
So doon po sa ethical sourcing po.
Saan magmumula yung kanilang mga kape. Okay. Mga coffee beans.
Una po yung responsibly grown coffee. We take a holistic approach to ethically sourcing coffee through responsible purchasing practices, farmer loans, and forest conservation programs. So, nag-grant po sila ng loans po para po dun sa mga farmers para na rin po masupport po nila yung nagtatanim po ng mga coffee na ginagamit po nila. And also, ganun din po yung sa farmer support.
Mm-hmm.
Sa ethically sourced tea and ethically sourced cocoa,
similar din naman yung dalawa. And since they are helping the farmers to grow their coffee, so
as a member of the Ethical Tea Partnership, they are working along with other buyers to improve conditions across the tea industry. So nakikipag-negotiate din po sila sa ibang buyers para po mas lumawak po yung nila yung tawag dito. Yung mapagkukunan po ng supply.
okay.
Yun po.
Okay po.
Opo, yan na po, sir.
Okay. So, yeah, maraming salamat po. Yeah, so with regards, again, almost the same naman po yung mga focus ng bawat industry, mapamaliit or malaking industry in terms of corporate social responsibilities. It could be from the community, helping the community, even mining, for example, yung mga mining operations dito sa Philippines. Part of their corporate social responsibility is to provide livelihood dun sa mga affected na mga tao because of their mining operations. And hoping na nagagawa nga nila na maayos lahat ng industry. And then, also yung impact sa environment, they always think of that. Sana ngayon po, wala namang industry na they are not thinking on how not to help the environment, not acknowledging their impact dun sa pag-destroy sa nature natin. And then yun nga, ethics, concepts of ethics. So that's part of corporate social responsibilities. And then nakaline up dun yung mga programa nila. And then there are several other industries na kinikip track nila. For example, yung carbon footprint, how they are progressing. Hindi lang siya nakalagay sa in terms of statement na okay, this is what we're envisioning, but also they are ensuring na minomonitor nila, are we really doing what we are supposed to do, or are we really on track on our vision? Okay, so some other industries ask for assistance mula sa mga non-government agencies to, or some, like for example sa ano nga bang tawag dito? Yeah, sa mga non-government agencies para ma-measure yung, let's say, carbon footprint nila, and ayun, impact ng mga activities nila sa nature, sa community, and so ayan. And with regards na sa inyong project sa feasibility study, I'm hoping na hindi lang one paragraph yung inyong corporate social responsibility, since you are trying to establish a new company, di ba? So maybe you have to envision what will happen 5 years from now once malago na yung kumpanya nyo. How can you give back? Okay, what are the programs na gagawin nyo? So hanggat maaari po, nakadetalyado po yan. Mas maganda na yung detalyado kaysa sa mas maganda na yung detailed kaysa sa very high level na parang hindi nakalinya yung, hindi systematic, kumbaga hindi nakalinya na maayos ano yung next steps na gagawin natin. Okay? So sana po sa PDD and sa FISIB, mga detalyado po yung programs na gagawin niya. Okay, maraming salamat po for the fourth group. Last group, fifth group. Meron po ba? May fifth group po ba tayo dito?
Apo.
Okay, sige po. Okay po. We're seeing the screen now.
Yung sa amin pong product po is yung sa cellphone din po.
Okay, you're
Then,
trying to build a new phone. Yes. Okay. So, same din naman. So, yun, same. Okay, mali ang spelling ng price. Okay, same comment po from the previous groups. So, hanggat maaari po ay detalyado yung ating customer requirements and measurable yung ating technical or engineering requirements. Like display color, anong ibig sabihin ng display color, RAM, anong ibig sabihin ng sensor, or so. Okay? Ngayon, mali ang spelling ng customer. Ayan. So, base sa assessment nyo ng customer requirements, it appears na ang primary na kailangan nila. Sino po ang mga target customer nyo dito? Sino yung target consumers, target customers nyo sa bagong phone models nyo? It is the upper 20% of the population? Or is it the general public?
Sir, general public po.
Okay, ordinaryong tao. Okay. So, ayan. And then, kung general public lang siya, and ang gusto mo ay phone model, and you are thinking na dapat yung phone ay may magandang camera, may mataas na memory size, at nagtatagal yung battery. Okay, which is, yun nga naman. Okay, so, oo. General public. Okay. And then, okay, proceed tayo sa result. Sorry, this is display color. Tingnan ko lang muna yung technical requirements. LCD, ergonomically designed and LCD display size. Yeah, possibly. There's a strong positive correlation there. LCD size and weight. Pagtaas ng LCD, pagbaba ng weight. Pagtaas ng, or gusto mo magaan lang yung phone mo. Tama? But then you're looking for a wider display. So, yun nga, negative nga dapat. And then, with regards to ergonomically design, so yes, gusto mo mababa yung weight and then at the same time, ergonomically design siya. How about sensor and LCD display? Bakit po siya strong negative? Bakit strong negative yung sensor and LCD size display?
Sir, medyo nagkamali lang po dyan kasi po,
Dapat ay
dapat po ay strong positive po.
strong positive. So, more sensors. Okay. So, kumbaga, medyo mas sensitive. Parang yun. If you have a wider, yeah, possibly. Yeah, possibly. Okay, again, that depends on your analysis. You may be more experts dito. Okay, so ano po ang ating result, ma'am?
Sir, dun po sa importance rate po, sa importance rate po, ang sa weight po is 45 and then sa high number of pixel po is 109 and then dun po sa sensor is 108 and then dun po sa ergonomically design is 126 and then sa RAM po is 38 while dun po sa LCD display size is 60 po and then dun po sa display color is 89. Then kinuha na din po namin sir yung percent importance nung bawat isa po.
Mm-hmm.
And then dun po sa if ever po na, yun nga po, may sa group 5 po, yung sa amin po, kung kami po is magka-create ng own po namin, mas bibigyan po namin so for po dun sa high quality of camera, and then dun po sa price is 5, then po, dun po sa operating system is 2, then sa size po is 2. So yun po sir. Then po then next po, yung mga brands po ng phone is nilagay na din po namin yung alam po namin na nag-exist po. And then dun po sa Apple, based lang po dun sa aming observation and mostly po kasi yung mga kagrupo ko po is nag-use din po ng Apple. So yung quality po ng camera is 5 while the price po is 4. So dun po sa price, ang ano po kasi namin sir is hindi po yung sa lower, yung mababang price po. Yung sa amin po is kung worth it po ba yung price din po sa quality ng product. So kaya po 4 po yung nakalagay dun sa Apple na namin. Kasi po even though na mataas po yung price niya, siguro po worth it din naman po yung product para po dun sa sa price po. And then dun sa operating system po, then sa size po, since 5 din po dun, kasi meron din po kasi yung Apple na nag-provide din po sila ng smaller size ng unit po ng phone and meron din pong bigger size. And then dun po sa ibang mga unit, yun po sir, naka-indicate na din po dun. Yung So yung dun po sa graph, sir, ginirap po namin yung mga existing brand po. And mas mataas po yung sa Apple po. And dun lang po siya talaga bumaba sa battery kasi we all know po na hindi po ganun kaganda yung battery ng Apple po.
Okay. Okay. So with regards naman since you're trying to produce a new phone model, ano yung dapat na bigyan natin ng attention dun sa ating mga engineering requirements? or kailangan natin bigyan ng priority or ensure na nami-meet natin yung ganung level of technical or yung standard dun sa technical requirements na yun?
Ano po, sa ergonomically design po, sir.
Okay.
Kasi po, yun nga po, kung yung sa ngayon nga po, mostly lahat na po is gumagamit ng phone. So, dapat po is, yun nga po, mas mataas po yung ergonomically design.
Okay. So, I have actually napansin ko yun sa lahat na you have put their ergonomically designed dun sa almost sa lahat na nag-present. Ngayon, since we're talking of phone, how will you ensure na may na ergonomical design siya? Given na almost all phones naman po ay similar naman ang itsura. How will you ergonomically design a phone?
Kagaya po ngayon, yung phone ko po kasi merong Vivo po siya. So, meron po siyang eye protection na nakalagay po. So, isang ano na din po yun na ergonomically designed din po yung phone.
Okay, sa mga features. Not only sa design
Yes,
mismo nung physical design or physical attribute ng phone natin na given namang pare-pareho ng itsura sila. Ano?
And sir, meron din po yung sa size kasi ako po medyo maliit po yung kamay ko. So, dun po ako sa mas smaller size unit ng phone po. Then,
Okay.
meron din po naman na mas gusto yung mas bigger, ganun po.
So, actually, yun nga po. Actually, di ba ganun yung ginawang trick ni Apple? On their latest model, merong yung light na I think it's
Opo, sir.
iPhone 12 kung hindi ako nagkakamali. May maliit, may
Opo, sir.
malaki. So again, even if mga elites yung target consumer nila, with regards sa size or sa ergonomics ng phone nila, they are able to address not only yung general public but also those with the below the midpoint, parang ganun, or sa mga lower quartile na tao. Okay, so yeah, so again, pag nag-design kayo, kailangan yun nga, detalyado what is meant by ergonomical design. So hanggat maaari may mga notes kayo dyan pag nasa papel na, may mga notes kayo dyan, how will you measure ergonomic design or so, and the rest of the other technical requirements. Okay po?
Okay po, sir.
Okay, so thanks a lot po. Next.
Wait lang po.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Sir, okay na po.
Yes, we're seeing the screen po.
Love 10 po yan. So, ang pinili po naming legend ay yung up, down, and then yung ganun po sa week. Para, nagdesisyon po kaming magkakagrupo na para po sa amin, ito po yung mas makakatulong para po mas mapadali yung pagda-diet po. Yung may, kita naman po kung up po or down po, no?
Yes po. Okay, however, I unang tingin, kasi it's more of data science, ano? Or ano ba tawag din? It's not data science, but it's more visual thing. Pag kasi pag arrow up kasi, it's an indicator na, okay, pag taas mo isa, tataas mo isa. Then pag normal, it's unang tingin natin is sa arrow down, it refers na mababa. Ano? Or pababa.
Opo.
Ano? So, something na kailangan yung mas maintindihan next time. Okay, that you should be worried on what legend will be used. Okay, para maintindihan ng mas maayos ng audience mo yung pine-present mo. Okay, para hindi magkaroon ng multiple interpretations.
Opo.
Okay. Okay po, continue.
Wait lang po. Yan, tapos po kinuha po namin yung importance rate po ng bawat isa.
Mhm.
Doon lang po sa pataas nga. Doon lang po sa sodium content na wala po. Doon
Yan,
lang po
hindi
kasi.
magkapantay, ano? Pero it appears na pinamataas ay 231.
Apo, yung sa meat and vegetable po kasi halos lahat naman po hindi naman po mapipigilan pong kumain po ng meat at vegetable.
So I think that meat and vegetable ratio pertains to, halimbawa may pagkain ka or may introduce kang pagkain, gaano kadami yung vegetable content niya as compared sa meat content. And I think if you are dieting more of veggie, I think dapat yung kakainin. So mas mataas yung vegetable over the meat. So I think that's what is meant by meat vegetable ratio. It could be 10-10 or kung pantay or 10-5 or so. Okay. So ano po interpretation natin?
Ang recommendation po namin ay it is vital to figure out what we ought to eat, particularly with regards to fat substance, cholesterol content, and number of calories for the food we admission to accomplish ideal well-being and weight. With regards to the meat and vegetables naman po, it is expected to have the appropriate size of the part of the regular meal. Nutrient substance of the food is required. We should likewise realize the planning time, assortment, and the lineup guidelines since food ought to be arranged or cooked appropriately. Thus, the third partition should be all focused on it on in light of the fact that the fundamental objective is to get it.
Okay. Okay. So actually, this recommendation is familiar. So I think I saw the same interpretation from other groups. I think maybe from other sections, if I'm not mistaken, it's from section D. Which is, again, it could be that you worked with them, wala naman problema doon insofar as na maalam tayo mag-interpret, maalam tayong mag-create nito, mag-analyze. Okay, yun lang yung habol ko dito. Okay po. But yeah, that recommendation is similar to what was presented from other sections. Nevertheless, yun nga, goals achieved naman tayo. So don't worry that much on that matter. Okay, so next group.
Bali, last group na po kami, sir.
Okay, last group. Yes. So, una sa lahat, thank you so much for you guys doing a lot of efforts. Yeah. Dun sa mga activities natin, masyadong mahirap yun and hopefully na and I'm hope mataas po yung hopes ko na magagamit yun naman siya sa ibang subjects. And then, ayan, thanks a lot for the efforts, guys. And I'll be sending you a video regarding stock market. I think we already reached our limit sa oras turned out to be too boring if I'll discuss it further. So instead, I'll be giving you the visual link na lang. And yun. So I think let's wrap things up. And maraming salamat po for today. Have a great day ahead. And see you soon next. Paalam po.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, pwede pong magtanong po dun about sa Instagram.
Yes po.
Pag po nakapaggawa na po ng account,
Mhm.
yung nandun, may mga iba po kasing nandun na, nung tinignan ko po kagabi, yung parang nagpo-post po ng picture para maka-earn po ng money, ganon.
Nagpo-post ng
Picture po meron po ako nakitang ganon po.
sa post mismo?
Opo, parang dun po sa, halimbawa po may sarili ka pong yung account nga po. Parang may ganon po
Hindi ako familiar dyan, pero marami po kasing nagpapabayad para sa mga analysis. Yun po yung mga hindi nagtsatsaga sa stock market. Hindi nag-aaral, hindi nagtsatsaga mag-aral sa stock market. Parang aasa ka dun sa recommendation mula sa ibang tao.
Sige po, sir.
Ayun, pero hindi ako masyadong tumitingin dun. Actually, yun nga, if I can share screen. Then, punta lang ako sa Instagram, Oops. Instagrams. I'm just looking on few things here. Basta wala kayong dapat bayaran na kahit na dito. We're just after learning it. Yan, kagaya ng mga to. Wag na kayong mag-invest sa Prime kasi may dagdag bayad yan. Okay, so actually, I'm just looking on the portfolio that I have just to keep an eye on where I stand. Yan, lugi ako ngayon. And then, I'll go to home. And then, yan nga po. Nagcha-charting ako minsan. May familiar akong stocks dito. I can look on stocks trending kasi yan po yung may maraming post. Halimbawa ito. Yan. Kasi mula sa mga comments na yan, I could learn. Yan. Yung mga technical analysis silang pinopost dyan. And then, ayan, madami naman. Ayan, marami dito eh. And then, yun, saka ako bibili, kiklik ko to, and then I can look for charts. Ayan, post, then stocks, or so. Ayan. Yan lang yung aking mga pinagpipindot dito. So, ayan, ang goal lang naman natin dito, matuto, ma-familiarize ng konti. Okay, sa stock market.
Kasi, kailangan po ba pag pinasa po yung parang dapat po may earn ka na po kahit konti? Yung may laman po yung wallet.
Anong pag pinasa?
Lab 8 po kasi yun,
yung
sir.
Lab 8. Yung Lab 8, wala lang yun. Yung parang, ano lang natin, ano yung initial portfolio nyo? Just an evidence na, okay, that you created an account. Yun lang yun. Evidence lang.
Sige po, sir.
Oo.
Thank you po.
Kahit wala pa yung mga nakalagay dito, walang problema. Gusto ko lang makita na truly na-create kayo.
Apo. Thank you po.
Okay? Any more questions po?
Wala na po, sir. Thank you po.
So I'll be giving you a video po sa yung simplest technical analysis na pwede. Kasi yung pinakamadaling intindihin. Para at least matuto kayo dito. Okay? Anything else?
Wala na po, sir. Thank you po.
Okay, maraming salamat po. Paalam po.
Bye-bye po.
Thank you.